Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
Well, it's 101 days until the gate drops at Anaheim 1 on January 6th. Who's ready? My hand is up. Welcome to another Vital MX MotoXpod show presented by Boyesen and Racetech. Since the inaugural Super Motocross Series wrapped up a few days ago, we wanted to get a couple of the privateers on that made some money, that did well in the series. And yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get those guys on. I'll tell you the guest list in just a minute. Couple privateers. I said that right?
Yeah.
Tonight, special guest, Freddie Noren, Grant Harlan, Cheyenne Harmon. Cheyenne Harmon obviously wasn't involved with Super Motocross, but the first two were, they had really good seasons for themselves, for privateers at their level. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to talk to those guys. I'm looking forward to it. Cheyenne Harmon has some things coming up. He's gearing up to get back into Supercross as a privateer. He didn't race too many races last year, so we're going to talk to those guys here in a little bit. Before we do, let me introduce my co-host in studio as always, working the cameras, Scotty Thompson.
What's going on?
What's up?
Hey, not much, man.
Did you have a good weekend? Did you enjoy the race from TV?
Yeah, it was good. It was quite the spectacle. So I mean, It was cool to see. It definitely seemed like they pulled out all the stops. They like every single celebrity or person that's anybody that's ever touched a dirt bike in their life was there.
You feel like that? Okay.
Yeah, and every single announcer was there, and it was cool. I mean, it was definitely a production. I think it was job well done.
Well, we'll talk a bit more about that after we get our first guest on. He'll do the first 30 minutes, our first co-host, excuse me. He'll do the first 30 minutes, and we'll let him go, and towards the end of the show, you and I will probably talk a little bit more about some of that stuff.
Sounds good.
So, on the line from Vital MX, Lewis Phillips. How we doing, buddy?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad that you're back. We were saying off air, you were saying that it feels like it's been over a month, and that's about accurate. I think it's been 4 or 5 weeks since you've been on here.
Yeah, I've done well.
Done well to steer clear?
Yes. Couldn't avoid it forever, though.
We finally tracked you down, made you come on the show. You threatened to hang up on us, but you're here.
I'm here, and I'm ready to go for 28 more minutes.
I have 27, sir. 27.
On the clock.
Well, let's take a few of those minutes by thanking one of our presenting sponsors, Boyesen, who would like to spotlight their Boyesen Factory Riding Support Program, a comprehensive support system for motocross and off-road riders. Scotty, one of these days you're going to get a bike back together.
Those days are coming close.
We're getting close?
Yeah, getting close.
Once they do, wouldn't you like to get discounts and help out Boyesen with their product development? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would love to.
So visit Boyesen.com, become one of their factory flyers, and do that today. And if you're a listener, especially if you got a 2-stroke, there's so many killer parts from Boyesen. Visit them, get signed up, become a Boyesen factory flyer. Lewis, Super Motocross Series is over, the inaugural season. You were there, I was there. I think the highlight of the entire weekend for you was meeting the guy that sang the national anthem, Mitch Malloy.
Yeah, Mitch Malloy. He's a singer.
He is.
He sung the national anthem.
He did.
He has long hair.
He does.
And I met him.
You did. And you're best friends now.
Yes, as you can tell by my extensive knowledge on his career.
Yeah. Scotty, so he was one of the celebrities that was down on the field. Or at some point, before Saturday, Sean introduced him, I think Friday. And yeah, Mitch Malloy, though, you sang for a little while in the band Great White that I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah,
he was the original singer, but he's a big friend of Sean Brennan's. And yeah, Lewis was telling me, I met somebody that's a singer. He had no idea. It was really funny.
I'm going to say, Lewis
it was awkward.
Right.
It was the most awkward experience ever. I am the worst person to meet someone like that, because he told me what he did, and I was just like, okay, nice. Like he could have said, "I work at the local Target," and I would have been equally as impressed.
But I think that a lot of people like that though, because like they don't. It's got to be kind of tiring of like, at least it wasn't like how Darkseid was with Dax Shepard, where he was like all awkward.
You don't know how I was,
and like shaking and being all fanboyed out. Like Darkseid probably would have hung out with him longer if he had just been like, "Oh yeah, nice, that's cool. What do you do, Lewis? You're doing it the right way, bud."
That was my goal.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Lewis, throughout your life, going to races and different events, have you ever met anyone outside of the sport that you were like, "Oh, this is really cool"?
No, I don't think so. I cannot even think of someone who I would meet who I would think would be cool, other than a motocross person.
Well, this segment is not going well.
What did you expect me to say? Yeah, I met The Rock once. He was great.
I was hoping you would have, but I honestly expected you to say no.
Maybe you should have prepped beforehand and asked me if I had seen someone.
Well, then I wouldn't have asked it, and it would have been a lot less funny, because now it's kind of funny because you didn't meet it. It worked the way I expected it to. It's fine. I did meet,
I can't think of anyone.
What's that?
I can't think of anyone.
Well, as Scotty brought up, and anybody that listens to the show knows I am a big fan of Dax Shepard, the actor, married to Kristen Bell, his podcast, Armchair Expert. So yeah, I did fanboy out a little bit, Scotty. It was very exciting for me. The exact opposite reaction that Lewis had.
Yeah, so you need to take notes.
So who does Dax Shepard sing for? Is he a band or a solo guy?
He is an actor.
Right.
He what?
I'm just.
As Steve Mathis said, barely an actor, which that's not fair. He's been in a bunch of like the movie Without a Paddle.
Yeah.
Idiocracy. Those are some big movies he did. He wrote and directed the movie version of Chips. Numerous other things, but yeah, and he's married to Kristen Bell, one of the most famous actresses on the planet.
None of those words meant anything to me. Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
So would Lewis be like? He would be like more like nervous meeting like Hurling's dad than he would.
He's not. I don't think he's nervous about meeting anybody. I feel like the only people Lewis is nervous about meeting is people that he doesn't know. Period. Because he's just like, I don't know that. He's just because he doesn't. Well, you can tell it, Lewis. You're a little awkward when it comes to meeting people.
No, I figured out. I diagnosed my issue. I'm actually not. I thought I was. Okay. But it's something else.
Do you want to tell us what it is?
We're not going to do a deep psychoanalysis.
Okay.
But
well, let's move on from this.
I recently had an awakening.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
We'll talk off air then. But I do kind of what I was starting to get at with this is there really was, as you said, Scotty, a lot of cool things going on during the race. They brought some celebrities out. They brought a lot of history back, Lewis. What was the coolest part of this weekend for you? Like the Kawasaki intro was really neat when they brought the box van out and Chicken came out of the back, but I don't think you were there at that point. So what stood out to you this weekend that maybe people don't even know about that you got to experience?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't think there was one specific thing that stood out. Like you say, the Kawasaki event was cool. I was there for the mingling part. Mm-hmm. I didn't ride the Yamaha, so I wasn't a part of that. Seeing the Triumph was quite cool. But overall, I think it was just cool to be back at the Coliseum. Well, I mean, I've never been there before, but for everyone else, like you, obviously, even if you haven't been there, you're aware of the history. You know what it means to be there. So just to see that in person is something quite special. And I really regret because I never walked over to the Parastyles. Like I never walked around that area. And I feel like I dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, I did that on press day. I walked to the edge and looked down right before the press conference and kind of checked it out. And there's definitely some vibes there when you stand there and you remember where Larry Brooks crashed. And, of course, all the videos I kind of joked about when I was a kid, the VHS spills, thrills, and chills, those videos, and they'd have all the crashes at the Coliseum. And it was definitely a cool experience. I'm kind of bummed you didn't get to do that.
What's Speed, Thrills, and Chills?
Spills, Thrills, and Chills was these VHS tapes they used to advertise that were basically like Crash and Burn. Do you remember the magazine Crash and Burn? Do you ever see that?
No.
Okay, that was a magazine.
I never had the movies. I just remember the infomercials that would come on like during like the ESPN2 broadcasts and stuff. And it was just like, 30 seconds of just carnage. Just
yeah, well, the whole video,
the
whole VHS tape, maybe, who knows, maybe it was an hour video of just crashes, and it was dirt bike crashes and other kind of racing crashes. But
the 90s were a better time, man.
It was just a VHS you could order off the TV, send in whatever, like
$19.99.
$20 on, a letterhead, and they would send you this VHS tape of crashes. But there was always Coliseum crashes.
We had a VHS like that in Europe. It was called Crash Kings.
Nice. Yeah, same concept.
It was probably the same video.
No, because this was all European racing.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, but yeah,
it'd be cars and stuff sometimes too.
Yeah, there was the boats.
Like a drag racing thing, motor blowing up.
But the Coliseum crash just kind of stood out. There's that guy in the Kawasaki. There's a real famous crash that he cased a jump and did like a huge flip off the bike that was always shown on those videos. And it was at the Coliseum.
Where he was going down the Paris?
No, I think it was at the bottom of the peristyle, if I'm not mistaken. The one going down was Larry Brooks, where he clipped it.
Oh, yeah, where they clipped the handlebar? Yeah.
What about, you went to the Alpine Stars party on Friday night or Thursday night before I got there. How was that?
Yeah, really shocking about that is Alpine Stars clearly have a lot of pull in the industry because, there were so many riders there. Even riders, okay, you can understand, if you're head-to-toe Alpine Stars or you use the gear, you can understand that they were forced to go. But there were riders there who just use Alpine Stars boots. And I feel like for Alpine Stars to have the gravity to attract those riders to the event because let's be honest, no one wants to go. It's a pain in the ass for all of them. We can say that, obviously. Yeah. I was really impressed that they managed to attract that many people. And I believe that there were some celebrities there as well.
I've heard
that. I can give you any more information.
Did you know who they were?
Nope. Just heard that there were some famous people.
Keanu Reeves did a voiceover or something. I'm trying to remember who I heard was there because I don't remember right now. I didn't get to go to that either, but I heard it was pretty cool. I guess Eli was there, and of course all the riders, as you said, and there was some Kyle Busch or Kurt Busch, one of the Busch brothers, whoever has Alpine Star.
Someone with a Busch.
A lot of the NASCAR guys are sponsored by Alpine Stars because they make fire suits. But so many cool things involved at this race, though. Also, we saw the Brian Deegan Ghost Ride bike. Jordan Burns still has that bike. He was one of the co-owners of MotoXpod. He brought that bike out. So we saw that. A little bit of history there. Just a really cool event. As you said on TV, it was greater in person, all the stuff going on. The Kawasaki event, Scotty, that we talked about, and a lot of people maybe don't know, was just loaded with every Kawasaki rider almost through history. Jeff Ward, Kudrowski, just the list goes on and on of guys that were there, and they just told stories, and Davey Coombs hosted, and we kind of sat around and ate tacos and listened to them talk, or actually maybe we ate hot dogs. I think I had tacos somewhere else, but anyway, it was a cool event. It was just really fun. A big thing to be a part of, and it probably will never be back at the LA Coliseum. That's what I'm hearing. I think that's what you're hearing, Lewis.
Yeah, it sounded like that's it. Logistics.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you feel special to knowing that maybe you were at the last race ever at the LA Coliseum? Does that mean something to you?
I would say it does a little bit to me, mainly because, like you, I've never been there before. I didn't get to go to any of the ones. Even when I lived in Southern California, I never went to one, so I missed all that. So to get a little piece of the party, of the history, it felt a little, I don't know about special, it just feels cool.
I feel like it will feel special in 20 years' time.
Yes.
Right now, you were just at the race on the weekend, but in 20 years' time, when you can actually say, I was at the last race at the LA Coliseum, that is when I think it will hold a little more weight. And also, to say you were at the first Super Motocross World Championship. Again, right now that doesn't mean much, but in 20 years' time, that will probably mean something quite special.
I agree. Racetech. Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company with over 35 years of providing factory-level suspension to everyday riders. They also do engine work. Scotty, Lewis, developing the best combination of porting, cam timing, mapping, and related components to build world-class engines is a painstaking process. Racetech has spent an impressive number of hours doing R&D on the flow bench, dyno, CNC, and at the track to create the Racetech Power Plan. If you follow the Racetech Power Plan and assemble the engine correctly, you can build an engine capable of competing with anything in the world. Racetech.com. Thanks to those guys. All right, Lewis, we don't have a whole lot more time with you. I know you're getting excited. It's running down. The clock's running down. So to wrap up, because I did not get a chance to listen to your post-race show with Michael Lindsay, what do you feel like SMX worked? I want to get both your thoughts, the different types of tracks, the moto links. Did it all work? Were there things that you feel like should be changed? How do you feel about it as a whole now that it's over?
Overall, I think it worked. And I think part of the reason that I feel that way is I did come in with quite low expectations. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if you come in with low expectations, it's easier to be impressed versus the opposite. If you come in with too high expectations, almost always it will fall short.
That's how I got all my wives. They came in with low expectations.
Who are you, Henry VIII? A little history joke for you all there.
I got it.
May not know about celebrities, but if you want a bit of history banter, yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because I was going to ask Lewis earlier if would he even care, would he feel nervous or if you met the Queen of England or something?
Well, if I met Henry VIII, probably a little bit probably because it'd be a ghost first.
Well, not that.
Scary.
Well, the Queen of England's dead too, so.
Well, I'm
not in the business of meeting ghosts.
What about Prince Charles, right?
Who's in charge?
Is Prince Charles now King Charles?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay, back to SMX.
Sorry, I derailed us there. My bad.
Well, that's what happens when Jamie balls in like Henry VIII. Yeah. Wait, what was I saying? What was I saying?
You were talking about low expectations.
Yes. Because I wasn't feeling it so much during the season, and I wasn't excited for this like Anaheim 1. I don't think anyone was, but it was different. The point structure worked clearly because we had a crazy finale where Jordan Smith could have won, which no one saw coming. By the way, that may have been Jordan Smith's best race of his career, so props for that. Yeah, I think it worked. I honestly don't know what I would tweak, because I think overall it does work. I would change the LCQ a little bit, because this is the playoffs. This is special. This is important. I don't necessarily think we need. I think it goes against the spirit of the format to allow riders who didn't qualify to qualify, if you get what I mean. Mm-hmm. So maybe have one LCQ at the first one, and then that sets the field. But I wouldn't have an LCQ every week, because that is. Yeah, I feel like that just goes against the spirit. But honestly, that is kind of all I would change. There wasn't a massive flaw in this thing, which is quite impressive because it is a new concept.
Scotty?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, it's funny, you mentioned Jordan Smith having his best race. And it was that's Jordan Smith can do that. He can go win. And then the next moto, he's got an outside chance to win the whole thing. And then he goes down, and you're like, oh yeah, that was Jordan Smith.
But it wasn't.
I know it wasn't his fault, but that. That story is not uncommon with his.
Did you have any problems with the series though, or anything stand out?
Getting into that, I really didn't like Lewis said, might be a couple of minor tweaks that I would change here and there.
Yeah.
But I think I'd have to be really nitpicky to change stuff.
Sure.
Some of the tracks, I feel like there could have been the tracks overall. I think it was a success how they kind of went. One was a hybrid, one was more national, and then one was more supercrossy. I liked that. There might be a couple of sections or a couple of obstacles that I would have done different. But I like how they did the 65s the first one, the 85s the second one, and then the 125s in the third one. If you've got to have
250s.
Did they do 250?
There's 250 All-Stars.
Someone kept saying 125. I just heard that weird. I think the celebrities were riding 125s.
Yeah, celebrities, yep.
That's what it was. Anyways, so I think all that concept worked well. Mm-hmm. I thought the TV production was good. They hyped it up.
You and I are going to get into that later, but
for the most part, I mean,
yeah.
It is what it is.
Touch on that again.
It is what it is. But I thought that I would really have to nitpick to find things that I didn't like about it.
Something that I thought going in, Lewis, and a lot of people kind of had the same feeling, is calling it a playoffs. People kind of need to be eliminated from at least the ability to win the championship. And I agreed with that. I thought, going into the first round, everybody's in the championship. Second round, maybe half of them are out, and they have to keep racing, but they can't win. But then at the last round, when Jordan Smith had a chance to win it, I was like, well, that wouldn't have been even a possibility had we done that. So I think I'm changing my opinion on that because I liked how it worked out.
See, I have a unique perspective of this because playoffs don't exist outside of America. So I don't really know what it means. I don't know how it works. I kind of understand the concepts, but I don't really get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really have an opinion on that. What I would like to see, and I guess this would kind of go against your feelings there, I think I want 2 races instead of 3 because if you had 2 races, I feel like they would both really matter. Whereas we ended up with a format where, in hindsight, Charlotte didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So if we just have 2, both will be high stakes. I don't know how you'd work the points if you'd have like single then double or double then triple still, maybe. Like that would, like seed them. First race is double points, second race is triple points. I just feel like that would maybe raise the stakes a little bit and maintain interest a little more, maybe. I don't know, but I kind of feel like Charlotte was pointless in hindsight.
Yeah, and that would technically put us back to the same amount of races that we already had anyways. So
yeah, because right now technically they say we have one more.
Technically,
so, yeah.
So I like that. Actually,
I don't dislike that idea other than just having one more race to watch. But I've also been a proponent of these guys need a break. So one less race, in my opinion, I can live with that.
I guess in contrast, saying that Charlotte didn't matter, Sexton had the red plate at the final round partly because of Charlotte. He wasn't great in Chicago, so Charlotte did help him enter LA with the red plate. I mean, I'm not sure if that's really an argument for anything, but Charlotte did matter a little bit. It didn't play up really. What happened in Charlotte did not play a part in the final picture, is my point.
To add to your thing, Lewis, I think that if there had been 2 rounds, the Jet letting Kenny by, I think would have happened.
Yes, yeah. And also, I don't like this. I haven't heard this discussed anywhere. But why aren't we scoring per moto?
I said that.
Is that not weird?
I said that. I said that last show.
I agree. It's weird. Yes.
I don't know what. I guess that is to do with keeping the points close.
Yeah. Because
that way, if a rider DNFs a moto, then they can still kind of make a bit of an impact. But that took some getting used to because we've never done it like that. Normally, every moto counts for something.
I kind of thought that's why they did it, is because we've never done it that way. So everything is kind of new with the series, the Super Motocross series. So that's what I was thinking, just to be different.
No, I think it was. I would guess that it was just to make sure that no one experienced a costly mistake or too costly. Because Vial, for instance, DNF'd the second moto in Chicago.
Yes.
But at least he had a result in the first one that helped his overall ranking a little bit.
Yeah, you're probably accurate with that. I got one more thing I want to ask you about, but just real quick, with playoffs, the way it works is depending on your records, certain teams get in the playoffs. Normally in like stick and ball sports, 2 teams play each other, losers out. You don't have a chance. And then the team that wins moves on to the next team of the other bracket that, when one loses, one wins. And then they go down to you only have 2 left, and then they play for a championship. In NASCAR...
Well, that's never going to work in this sport.
No, but
we're individuals.
In NASCAR, the way it works is similar. Like, a certain number of points gets into the championship, but everybody's still racing for points. They're still racing for year-end points. But the championship guys, let's say there's 10 going in. After the first race, maybe 2 get eliminated of the playoffs. So there's like 5 or 6 races. Then 3 more get eliminated. And I think in the very final race, only 4 can win the championship, but other guys can still win races and move up in the overall season points.
Do you really think guys like Phil Nicoletti are going to line up for a race that he has nothing to gain from?
I mean, money and champion.
How would he still win money if he's out?
End of the year championship points if they did it like NASCAR, but we don't do it that way right now. They have to change that.
I think that's impossible to add into.
It's not impossible. They would just have to change the format, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it works now anyway, though, isn't it? Because, like, okay, although no one is eliminated, realistically, we entered the final round where only really Kenny, Chase, and Jet had a shot.
Yeah.
Like, okay, not officially, but realistically, like, even Plessinger, there was a path for Plessinger to win, but that was a long shot.
Well, I don't know where Jordan Smith was in points going in, but technically, had he been eliminated and then say he went 1-1 Saturday night in that same situation, then he would not have won the championship. He would have won the overall, but he would have still not been the championship. So because he was already eliminated, had that been the case. But
I already struggled with the math on Saturday, so adding this in would probably be a nightmare for all involved, including the timing people.
All right. So I was scrolling through Vital MX today, and I saw your editorial called Creative Spark.
Oh my, that's a week old. How much were you scrolling?
It wasn't very well. I just scrolled past all the Saturday races because I wanted to read some of your stuff because it inspires me. So what I want, if you feel like it, talk about it because I think I like the concept.
What, you want my full spiel?
You don't have to give the full spiel. Just break it down a little bit. Give a synopsis and send people to go look at it.
Spiel.
Okay, well, I'm only on the clock for another 4 minutes.
Yep, that's
so
why.
I'll try and keep it short.
Okay.
No, right. So every MXGP rider within reason has messaged me and said they can do SMX. Like, okay, none of them wanted to quad onto the tabletop, but they all said, like, we can, like, the top guys said we could have won Chicago. Like, that's possible. They said they would have died in the Charlotte Rhythm section, but then they would have made up time in the outdoorsy parts. So that could have been okay. So they're all in. They want to do this. So let's take the top 10 from America, the top 10 from MXGP. Let's block out September for Super Motocross and the Motocross of Nations. So as a global sport, we all know regular season finishes in August, September is reserved. And then that means that the Nations is on the same date every year. You know, you can start to plan ahead a little bit. If you take the top 10 from each series, that means that it kind of is a little more playoffy because a really good rider is going to be eliminated. Mm-hmm. Because whoever is 11th, that is a really good rider. So that adds, the stakes are a little higher then. That would make the seeding process even more interesting throughout the regular season. So that's exciting. And then we get an incredible Super Motocross series that is basically what fans around the world have wanted forever. So I don't see why it can't happen.
Yeah,
true world champion.
I like that. Like have it to where it's still, you know, it'd be 3 races. One of them is all the U.S. guys.
No, everybody, all of them, all together.
Well, but I think that you could also do it where all the U.S. guys raced, you know, all the guys that finished top 30 and 20 in points or whatever, they all raced in that top 10.
You're changing his concept already.
And then,
he's gonna hate
all
you.
the MXGP guys raced, and those top 10 is the second round, and then they all meet, and that way you have the 20 of the best 10 versus our best 10.
I like Lewis's concept better.
Well, it's just because I said something different, so you're just going to shit on it.
I lost track of that. I lost track of what was going on there.
Basically the same thing. It's just you have the U.S. guys and their championship. You have the MXGP guys and their final championship, and those best guys race.
In a final.
It'd be like
one single race with everybody
it's
together.
Like you have the NFC championship and the AFC championship,
I know what
and then
you're
you
saying,
have the
like
Super Bowl.
East and West.
Yeah.
I get you. I got you.
The best part is that if you take the top 10 from MXGP, they are all factory riders, which means that the cost is not an issue. Mm-hmm. Like when old privateer MXGP rider goes, oh, I can't afford to go to America. Well, great news. It's not for you. Move along. We don't care. Cry all you want. It's not for you. Like, brilliant. Problem solved.
Well, I think it was, I like the concept. Guys, Vital MX, look it up. Editorial, Creative Spark. Read through all the details. It's good stuff. Lewis has got a lot of good stuff up there.
Well, let me tell you, the theory has reached the powers that be.
Oh, yeah?
I know for a fact that it has been read.
And
I know that it has been discussed maybe a little.
Nice. Good job, Lewis. Good job.
Thanks, Henry.
Henry the Eighth. All right, Lewis. Well, I'll let you go. Talk to you soon. Anybody that's a Pulp MX fan, Lewis will be on the Pulp MX show next Monday night. So you guys got to check that out because he's always great. Thanks for your time, man.
Don't hate on me. Okay, cheers, Henry. Bye. See ya.
See you. Lewis Phillips, everybody. I'm Henry the Eighth. Apparently,
so he's back in the States. Yeah.
Yeah, he got back last week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Glad to have him. Glad to be back.
While I get Freddie Noren on, what'd you think of the number one plate in the LCQ for Phil Nicoletti?
Man, I need to go back and watch that. I didn't get to see that part.
Didn't get to see that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch 9 hours of Supercross on Saturday. I'm sorry.
9 hours.
5 hours for the race day live and 4 hours for the program.
The LCQ 5 + 4 is 9
last time I checked.
That's fine. Trying to think of something. I'm looking through my notes.
I heard about it. I think that's hilarious. I actually meant to go back and just skip to that part to see it, but I didn't get a chance to, so I will because I bet that was hilarious. I heard he cussed again, which is funny.
Yeah,
so,
he definitely.
He honestly, it's kind of funny how when it's all said and done, like to me, one of the biggest highlights and one of the biggest just cool parts of the SMX was like the journey of Phil. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, like going to the LCQs and then pulling the whole shot in Charlotte, and he almost went to the wrong section.
That's
and
not even just SMX. It's just Phil in general
Phil,
is entertaining.
But I mean, it to me, like some of the most intriguing parts of the whole thing was what he was doing.
Right.
And I'm glad we're having Freddie on because I actually wanted to talk because they were kind of going back and forth in the whole points thing. Yeah. So
speaking of that, tonight, Guts Racing, Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew have been providing the best seats and foam in the industry for years. For 2023, they have added Kawasaki to their complete seat lineup as well as the color teal to the gripper material options available. Also new for 2023 are options for your e-bikes. They have complete seats for the Talaria, Super 73, and covers for the Segway and Sur-Ron, and they have options for the Honda, KTM, and Husqvarna electric bikes. So visit gutsracing.com today. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us Freddie Noren. What's up, Fast Freddie?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Not much, man. Glad to talk to you. How you feeling? Maybe a little downtime now?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's good. Thanks for having me on. Definitely it's going to be a little bit of downtime. Not a whole lot though, because, we're already close to being into October. So, it's kind of starting back up in October. So not a ton of downtime, but a little bit.
Yeah. So before we get into the season and everything, when I texted you yesterday, you said you had just had some surgery. Do you want to talk about that? Or do you want to let that go?
No, we can talk about it. It's nothing major anyways. But yes, I did have surgery in California on Monday. So right after, LA Coliseum this past weekend. But it's a minor surgery. So like my wrist, carpal tunnel, and then in my elbow, the nerves getting pinched there as well. So just decompression on my nerve. So it's been going on for close to about 2 years. It's been getting worse and worse within the last year, I would say. So when I ride, come like 10, 15 minutes, my finger starts going numb. And then at the end, at about 15 minutes, I can't really feel my fingers very good anymore. So then it becomes hard to clutch properly and pull tear-offs and just in general, just ride properly. So I'm like, you know what, I really need to get this taken care of, which I did. Dr. Alexander did a good job. And I'll really only be off the bike for like 3 to 4 weeks. So it's nothing major. I'll be back on the bike, come October 16, 20th-ish. So nothing too crazy.
Yeah, well, that's pretty impressive to have that going on and then have the season you've had because you really had some good rides. You're very consistent and, just getting into the SMX series in general and doing well there, like that's not easy to do if you got hand going numb or fingers going numb.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. And no, definitely. I mean, I've had a good season for sure. It's been officially been my career best season, to put it that way. I had my best Supercross season in the 450 class, and then I tied myself for outdoors, and then obviously the playoffs is a newer thing. But raced well at LA Coliseum, and yeah, I'm pretty stoked on how everything's gone. According to Steve Mathis, I was the only rider who raced all 31 races this year.
The Ironman.
So I was like, dang, all right. I didn't expect that. Obviously, I missed a couple of main events in Supercross, but like I went to every race.
Yeah.
So I would have assumed that,
There
or
should be an
thought
award for that.
Right?
Like, honestly, you should get something.
Yeah, no, I like that. Give me some more money. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. The only ones you missed, you had a streak of like 3 or 4, like Houston to Arlington, where you weren't making mains, and like, what do you remember? Like that time period, what was going on? Was it, was it just not good races, or was there something else going on?
No, I didn't really have anything necessarily going on during that time. I just wasn't putting it together. I would fault myself because I didn't change anything on the bike. The bike was working fine and the team was working good as well. So everything was going well on that part. I just wasn't putting it together, and I also was building a log cabin during the whole Supercross season. That was pretty intense, and part of outdoors as well. So that took maybe a little bit more of my attention than I had planned on. So, but that's all done now, and now the cabin's built. But in general, no, I'm not really sure. I've thought about it, why I struggled a few races right there. And not planning on ever having that happen again.
There you go. Let's talk about SMX. I believe 11th overall, and if I'm not mistaken, the purse is $50,000. Not a bad payday. Just talk about the series as a whole for you, what you thought of it, and that's a pretty good little payday. How that helps you out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, for some, 50K for anyone is a lot of money, but I'm not necessarily the top dog making a lot of money to begin with, in a sense. So that's definitely going to help out a lot. And like I said, with a cabin that we built and all of that, like, it will help fill the wallet back up a little bit, which is kind of nice. But no, I think it's awesome. It's good for the sport. It's good for racers and like myself, and just more opportunities as well. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Definitely different, with Concord and Chicago being different type of tracks, and then finishing off in LA, more Supercrossy. I had a blast, actually. Like, all the tracks were unique. I enjoyed each and every track. And it's kind of funny because on race day, I would kind of be like, I wonder, like, it's fun to ride, but I wonder how it's going to be to race, because it's pretty, tight. Like, as far as like lap times were pretty tight. Didn't seem like there was a lot of passing, but it worked out pretty well. I would say, even though the tracks were kind of similar speeds on the racers. And I would say from a fan standpoint, that's probably pretty good. That way they make racing a little tighter. So overall, I had a blast. It was fun, battling all the way through. So I've had some battles on each and every race with different riders. So it was a good time.
Good.
Yeah, Freddie, with you've been in the what season are you on now? Of being in the premier class, it's been over 10 years. Yeah.
I never really got to spend any time in the 250 class when I came over to America. So I did my first outdoor season in 2011. So that's over 10 years ago. And then I did a couple of 250 Supercross East Coast, actually, and West Coast seasons, just a few of them. But majority of my career here in the United States has been on the 450 class.
Yeah. So what I wanted to go with that is, if these SMX playoffs had been there 8 to 10 years ago, and there was this payout that you got, like, how different would your program and career be at this point if that had been available? And I'm sure, better late than never, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Better late than never. That's for sure. But I don't know. That's a hard question. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Right.
We never will fully know. But obviously, more money. You can put more into your program. So back in those days, 10 years ago, it was living out of a yellow van pretty much Everything was compromised, to put it that way. It was more, just trying to make it to the next round, where, if you have a little more money, you can put more into it with, training and bikes and parts and just everything. So it's hard to say. But, looking through, my whole career as a racer, I definitely, I wouldn't want to change anything necessarily. I've had a great career. Things could have been different, obviously, but like looking at the big picture, it's been pretty awesome, and I'm definitely looking forward to the future as well. I don't feel like I want to slow down, especially now that I'm actually just racing better and better every year. So looking forward to what's next as well, as far as continuing on with my racing career.
Yeah, you look, like you said, looking forward with now that this is here, and there's more teams coming in with new manufacturers and stuff, and then also the addition of the futures races and all this other stuff. How do you kind of see, guys that are in your position are going to have more help, especially with these playoffs and an extra purse? Kind of, what do you forecast the next 10 years of the sport, and where do you kind of see it benefiting from all this?
Yeah, it's no, I've actually definitely kind of thought about that, because when I first came to America in 2011, though I was only here for the summers to race outdoors, but that was right after the recession. So I feel like maybe like a majority or a lot of my career has been like a building, and the racing has been building back up. And I feel like now it's starting to maybe become bigger again as far as opportunities for racers. Like you said, there's more teams coming in, more manufacturers, and then like adding the playoffs and also other races in the world, other promoters as well. Like just in general, I feel like the sport is growing for a racer, and it being more opportunities for a racer, more teams, and just possibilities to make it a career, I guess, to put it that way. So I see a continued growth in racing, or at least I hope so. I'm not sure how long I'll race for, but for the future coming up, like, if I was a 15, 16-year-old kid, about to go pro, I'd be pretty excited about how the racing scene is shaping up, I guess, to put it that way. So I hope it continues to go, because obviously, like all of us, we love this sport, and that's why we do it, right? But yeah, no, hopefully it'll just continue to grow. That's the hopes, right?
I do think we're at a very exciting time in this sport, especially with Feld and MX Sports coming together and what they're trying to do. And like Scotty mentioned, the futures program, everything, it's very exciting for sure. So a lot of cool things coming our way. And
Freddie, do you think that that's going to bring the guys to more guys that were coming from Euro to make the decision that you did and come over here? Do you see that as well? I'm just kind of thinking this as we play it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about that. I don't really know how the European scene is either, because I've spent majority of my adulthood in America, I guess, to put it that way. So like I know it better here than anywhere else.
Yeah.
But if I was a European and I had an opportunity, or like, hey, what am I going to do like next year or the upcoming years? I would definitely want to look into coming to America. There's definitely a lot of opportunities here, which is exciting for a European too, I would imagine. Obviously, there's other dilemmas a European rider would be faced with visas and all that stuff, but it's certainly not impossible. So it'd be cool if we could get some more Europeans, get some more Swedish people over here. That would be awesome.
Yeah. This season, you rode Supercross for Mad Parts Kawasaki, I believe, and then, of course, made the transition to Suzuki, the HEP Suzuki team, outdoors and super motocross, and they've got Chiz and Kenny under the tent. Just what was that transition like? HEP's come a long way. They were basically the factory-supported Suzuki team. I think probably a lot more support, a little bit more options than maybe the Mad Parts team had. Was that an easy transition to make?
I would say it was easy. Obviously, like Mad Parts was a Supercross only team. HEP obviously does Supercross and motocross, and they definitely have more resources and more testing in and all of that. So, and I've spent a lot of time on Suzuki's previously as well. Yep. So it was other than, obviously we didn't have a lot of time going from Supercross to motocross. We had 1 weekend off. There wasn't a lot of time to adjust, I guess, but the HEP guys did a good job trying to provide everything that I needed to get comfortable, to put it that way. So I really enjoyed it, working with those guys and also with the Mad Parts guys during Supercross. Like overall, the whole season's been awesome. And then with Suzuki this summer, having Larry, he's obviously very knowledgeable and been in the industry for a very long time. And it's cool to see that team growing as well. Getting riders like Kenny and, building that program. I think that's really good. So it's kudos to those guys. They've done a good job. But overall, it's been good working with both teams.
With not having a lot of time to get the bike ready before the outdoor series started, get it ready for you, did you make significant changes, or was it pretty good right off the bat and just some minor changes? Kenny's always changed the suspension, and Kyle's very good at testing the bike and getting it pretty close for Ken. How was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do anything major, super big necessarily. It was a pretty good base package. The biggest thing we worked on was, dialing in the suspension. And the tricky part with that, when you're, trying to do that during the season, is finding, test days during the week, but then making sure it works on the weekend. So we did try quite a bit of stuff on race weekends. And I also went down to Florida a couple of times to test with Matt. So it took a little bit to get super comfortable, I guess, to put it that way. But overall, like, that is a good base bike right off the bat. So, like, first day on the bike, I was excited to go race it, I guess, to put it that way. So, and I would say, it kind of showed too, with me having one of my better outdoor seasons of my career. So it was good.
Absolutely.
Hey, Freddie. So, we talked about the SMX racing, all this stuff, and I was thinking, your battle kind of came down between you and Phil, and like. But and I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, you know what? Freddie's probably been racing Phil like for the entire time that you've been over here.
Yeah, you only beat him by 3 points.
Yeah, I know. So like, I was thinking,
that's a big guys, price gap too.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy that you guys have probably been around that, battling each other for that long, and then to culminate into this battle, and then. How did it feel to take some money out of Phil's wallet?
Yeah, no, I mean. I've known who Phil is for a long time. Like you said, I remember the first time he was like 700 something racing number on the 1110 mods bike and a Honda, like Unadilla. I don't even know what year that was. That was a long time ago. But yeah, no, Phil and I have certainly battled a lot in the past as well. We definitely battled a lot these last, even outdoors rounds. We had some good battles. And the fun thing with Phil too is he's obviously a Call MX guy, and I'm that too. So we battle during the weeks, we battle on the weekends, and everyone knows how Phil is. So it's been a good time. It's been a good time. I appreciate Phil a lot. He's a good dude. So it's been fun. And as far as taking more money from Phil, it wouldn't matter who it was, I guess, necessarily. Making more money is always more is better, right? But no, it's a lot of fun. He's a happy, grouchy guy, right? So
yeah.
What was his when it was all said and done and the dust kind of settled, what was his line to you? Like, oh, Freddie, you took what the hell, Freddie? I don't know.
Talk to him?
Yeah, did you get to talk to him after all of it?
He actually texted me on Sunday, and he said, "Good job, man."
Yeah.
But there were some cuss words in there as well.
Sure.
To put it that way. So, but yeah, no, he's a good dude. So it's all fair game. It's the same when he beats me. He beat me because he was better than me that day. So we enjoy each other's company. But yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it's definitely a good group down there at Club. I got to spend a few days, and that Tuesday before the rain, I drove down there, and I was going to try to watch you guys practice for a little bit, but I just happened to pull down right when you guys were pulling off for a break. But I did get to hear him with his cussing. And yeah, you were just sitting there chill, and everybody else is pretty chill. And yeah, and Phil's always just, that's just the way he is, right? He's a little aggressive, but he's fun. He's a nice guy. But yeah, but a good group down there. Club's awesome, man. I fell in love with that place.
Yeah, it's really good. I'd really appreciate what those guys are doing to the facility, and also like how they pour into each rider when we do ride, as far as becoming the best racer. It definitely helps out a lot. Not only having the tracks, but having the set of eyes watching you, and then riding with other guys that are really fast as well has been very beneficial for me. So I do enjoy going there a lot. I only live about an hour away, so that's really my place. That's the only place I ride. They have everything a racer needs to be the best racer he can be. So definitely going to plan on going back there to build the next year here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's great. I got a few more things I want to ask you before we let you go. 2024, is there any plans? Do you know what the goal is? Are you going to stick with HEP or do something else?
I mean, as far as what I want to do, I want to continue racing. So that's, goal number one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything set in stone at the moment. So definitely working on that still. Hopefully we'll get that rounded up here in the next couple of weeks is the plan, and have something official pretty soon. But yeah, we'll kind of see at the moment where I'll end up, but planning on racing. So should be good.
Freddie Noren tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing.
Hey, Freddie, you mentioned that you ride in that club and stuff a lot. Did y'all try to build like a different kind of track, or like combine two together? I'm sure I know that Darkside was there for a week, so I'm sure I could have asked him that. But while I got you on, is that something that you guys like were able to prepare for, and did y'all hit the mark when doing so?
Yeah. So club, I mean, they have a lot of acreage there.
200.
During let's say Supercross season, they have really 4 pads that they could build Supercross tracks on. So currently there's 3 Supercross track, and then so what they did, they made a hybrid track, and then which was more like Concord-ish, I would say, and then we had a full Supercross track. So those were the 2 that we rode, and then we did some outdoors one day as well, leading into the Chicago round. So, I would say they hit the mark pretty good as far as getting us riders prepared. I mean, no one really knew how it was going to be, but considering that no one knew how it was going to be, they did a really good job. And, obviously they have their own race team, so they want to, if they can have the best facility possible to make their riders better, that's going to benefit them. So, but yeah, they did a really good job.
So a couple more things. It sounds like probably not, since you just had a little surgery and you're going to start Supercross prep probably right around the corner, but are there any off-season races you'd like to hit?
At the moment, I'm not planning on doing anything off season this year.
Mm-hmm.
I did quite a bit last year, both local, and then did a World Supercross runs last fall, and also Motocross Nations last year. So this year, with me racing all 31 races, my wife and I were kind of on the same page that maybe we should try to chill a little bit this fall.
Sure.
Or at least not travel everywhere every weekend, go on different races. So at the moment, the plan is really to be home, enjoy the downtime, and just really prepare for A1 next year. So we have some weddings and stuff coming up, so we'll still be a little bit busy on the weekends.
Sure.
Here and there, but in general, no, we'll probably not race anything.
Okay. Were you asked to do MXDN, or were not even asked, or just you choose not to?
Yeah, Team Sweden asked me, and yeah, I'm always honored to get to represent my country. Just this year, I just wasn't feeling it. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, I need to be home.
Right.
So, and they were super cool with it, and they have a really good team. So I'm excited to see what they can do this year. I'll be following it, that's for sure.
Oh,
and, cheering on my fellow countrymen.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'll be up early that morning and watching all the festivities. All right, 2 more. So I know that you have an Airbnb that you and your wife have been working on. And I'm sure and that might have been the log cabin you were talking about, because it's a really nice place. I didn't know if you wanted to promote that and let people know about it.
Yeah, of course. Heck yeah. But yeah, we that's what we did. That's the log cabin that we built in the North Carolina mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains. If people are interested in checking it out, we have a page called The Swedish Host on Instagram, and he also has a link to the Airbnb listing on there. We would love to host some moto people as well, or anyone really for that matter. It's been awesome. It's a very nice cabin. Definitely was a lot of work, but we're done with it now, and we've been booking out some. So
that's awesome.
It's very exciting. We're pretty pumped on that.
I really fell in love with the Carolinas in the week and a half I was up there. It's just beautiful. So I can only imagine. Yeah. So hopefully you guys go check that out. The Swedish Hosts, and there, if you follow Freddie on Instagram, there's a link on his Instagram page too.
That's right.
Last one. I told you I was going to do a random question. I had a couple, but we're just going to do one question. I've been doing this lately, so I gave you a heads up on this one so you could think about it. If you could have dinner and a conversation with any two people, dead or alive, who would you choose and why?
Well, so the first person I would pick, a lot of people know, but I'm a believer, a follower of Christ. So my first dinner would be with Jesus. Just sit down and have a talk with Jesus. Thank him for allowing me to be part of this world and go and racing my dirt bike. And I'm sure there could be a lot of interesting conversations I could have with him.
I would think so, yes.
That would be the first one. And then the second one, as you mentioned, we have built the cabin. So I'm really into real estate and kind of working on or building my portfolio with real estate, but also business and just in general. So the person or the book that got me interested in business and real estate is Robert Kiyosaki. So I would probably like to have a dinner with him and then pick his brain on business and real estate. And I'm sure there could be a lot of other good conversations with someone like that. But yeah, those are my two people. Maybe not super interesting necessarily.
No, it is.
But,
sure.
That's kind of what I'm into. So I would enjoy that.
Yeah, and Jesus was a carpenter, so like
he can help you.
Yeah, we're
That's
talking about
right.
building houses, selling houses. I like that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know this. I don't know if I should say this on a show because I always get laughed at a little bit at it, but I actually went to school to be a furniture builder in Sweden before I came to America. So I went to school for 3 years building furniture, and it was not at IKEA. It was just a normal school. But yeah,
I don't know why they would laugh.
That's
a hell of a skill. I mean, that's hard to do good furniture. Like that's, yeah. Well, even just carpentry in general, like really good carpenters, that's a massive skill. It's very impressive.
It shows how bad we are as Americans. Because I don't think you could go to a school and have like a program where you could like actually learn something how to use your hands and build something.
I don't know.
Like no, let's just.
You don't think Harvard has a carpentry skill class?
I think that they're more worried about just like making you like just hate the world. And
I don't know, man. That's pretty cool, Freddie. Very impressed. Really appreciate you coming on the show. I figured the week after the series is over, it'd be hard to get guests because you guys want a break. So thank you for that. And even during the season, every time I came to the truck, you at least pretended to be happy to see me and do an interview. So thank you.
No, I appreciate it, man. I like doing this stuff. It's part of racing, and I enjoy talking to people. So it's a good time. I appreciate you coming over every race talking to me.
Absolutely, Freddie. Thanks so much, and we'll be talking to you again real soon, man. The series will be back before 101 days.
12 weeks. Yeah.
101 days till gate drop at A1.
There we go. Time to get ready.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. All right.
Freddie Noren tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Great interview. As always, yeah, I really, when I was flying home Monday, or I guess it was Monday, I was driving to Steve's, I think, and I was texting riders going, okay, trying to get the show booked. Man, nobody's going to want to do this, dude. Like, they just
everybody's in like Aruba. And yeah.
I didn't think I'd get any answers, but the three guys I reached out to all responded back. So, yeah, we'll be getting to Grant Harlan in just a couple minutes. But, yeah, thanks to Freddie. So, the red flag, I want to talk to you about that real quick. During the Barcia race, or the Barcia crash during the first race,
Did you ever confirm? Was it confirmed that was a first gear and didn't get to second, or what?
No, I haven't heard any of that. I don't know exactly. I don't know if anybody's heard from him. But what I wanted to talk about is it was on the first lap, and I didn't really
the first lap.
Huh?
It wasn't the first lap.
I think it was
the second lap. He would led a whole lap.
No, he literally just made the pass to the lead in that corner.
Okay, well, I think there was a lap. I think there was
Pretty
a lap.
sure it was the first lap. I just watched it. You might be right. I won't argue.
Was it the first full lap, or was it like they had? Because didn't they cross the finish line pretty quick into like after the start
Trying to think
before
about that.
going up to the
Yeah, I think
peristyle?
so. Yeah.
So they had already gone up the peristyle
But I meant
once,
first
right?
full lap. Yes, they had just come down
Okay.
because it was right after the sand and the right-hander.
Yeah.
So anyway, they have to complete 3 laps to do a staggered start. And if you watch, Steve pointed this out. I didn't notice until I rewatched it. As soon as the first 2 guys jumped the finish line, the red flag came out. Like they waited. And it's almost as if they waited because they didn't want to do a complete restart. But if you didn't really pay that much attention, I guess you might not have a thought. Do you have a thought on the fact, if that's what they did, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that it's going to come down to the grass is always green on the other side argument. I think that if they had done a full restart, they'd be like, oh, everybody'd be like, oh, this is crap. It screwed up how the race goes. But then they do a stagger and like, oh, they rigged it and they
I'm
waited.
more worried about like, did they go, okay, we need to throw red flag, but let's wait a second. Let's wait until they cross. Let's wait, 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't move.
Do you want to not throw the red flag when there's a guy hurt there because you're waiting for these guys to get to it?
But were those guys? Did waiting the 20 seconds or what? Let's say they waited 20 seconds. Was that going to change with them getting back to Barsha? No. So it doesn't really matter.
They waited before they could get him off the track, though. So, like, if he's laying there dying, he wasn't dying, obviously, but they would just say, well, we're going to wait. We're going to wait.
It's not like the medical crew was standing there on the side waiting until the red flag came, then to help him.
No, but they needed to get him off the track. But
the guys weren't over there. The whole pack was the beginning of the race. They weren't spread out. They weren't over there yet.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they weren't. They're going to come back around, but I don't know. I just feel weird if they were like waiting to throw the red flag. Hey, give it another 30 seconds before we stop the race so we can get him off the track.
I think it was. I think they were made they didn't want the championship with that much money that they're giving out and that much eyes on the whole thing that I don't think that they wanted to do a full restart.
So I don't really think they did because I was watching the flagger and I watched him like stand up and then his radio was on the side. He said something in his radio and then he did not the throat slit thing, but where you kind of doing it along your throat, like, hey, cut it, kill it. He did that, and I Steve and everybody that was around me, Paul P. and Lewis, I was like, he just told him to throw the red flag. And as soon as he did that, the red flag came out. So I don't really think they waited. I think it just was a coincidence because as soon as the medic said, call it, the red flag came out.
Yeah.
But if they were to say, somebody's laying there, they need to get him off the track, and they go, hey, let's wait another 30 seconds until he crossed the finish so that it is a staggered restart. That's kind of shitty.
We've also seen in the past where they'll do a couple laps before they realize that they have to do the red flag and then throw it. So I
just don't want them waiting. And again, I don't think they did, but there was a theory that they waited.
I think it's...
Well, let's get the next rider on, the next guest, and we'll get his thoughts on it. Let's see. He's going to be brought to you by FXR. FXR is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game. With every new piece created, at FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. So visit fxrracing.com to see the numerous gear lines and colorways. The new 2024 line is available. Go to your local dealership to check it out. Tonight, FXR brings us Grant Harlan. What's up, Grant?
Not much. What's going on, Jamie?
Not too much. So you were involved with that red flag, and I don't know if you heard the beginning of my conversation.
I got a little bit of it.
So yeah, Steve was saying on Monday on Pulp that he felt like they waited until the leaders crossed the line because that third lap is what you have to do a staggered restart, I think. So he was kind of hypothesizing that they waited to throw the red until they crossed the checkers. I don't really think they did based off what I was seeing, but yeah, just in general, we'll just jump right into it. How did the red flag affect you?
Well, I was about dead last by like 30 or some seconds. So,
so it helped.
I mean, whether it was a full restart or staggered restart, it definitely helped me a little bit. As far as, them waiting for the leaders to cross to stagger start, I don't know how that would have benefited them necessarily, but whatever.
Well, if they had thrown it before they crossed the finish line, it would have been a complete restart. And I think Steve was hypothesizing they didn't want to do a complete restart. They wanted to. It's a little more fair when it's staggered to the guy. So the guy that's leading maybe gets a bad restart on a real restart and kind of screws him over. So he was hypothesizing that they waited so that nobody got screwed out of that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I could have used the full restart because once we did the staggered, I only got one spot.
Right.
But and it would have been nice, to have a chance to start more in the middle of the pack like I did in the second moto. But I don't think it changed my overall too much. Whether I went 12-12 or 18-12. So
sure,
I'm not too worried about it.
Well, Grant, I want to congratulate you on what I have to assume. I didn't check all the facts, but I think probably your best career year. 15th in Super Motocross, $32,000. So we got 18th in Supercross, 10th in MX. Just a breakout year for you. Yes, there were some guys out, but it doesn't matter, man. You did the races, you were there, and you were competing, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm honestly more stoked on the fact that I made it all 31 races. I didn't make Redbud, but I was also doing an overseas race. So, technically I still made 31 weekends.
You didn't miss one after Nashville? I thought you missed one. No?
No, nope.
Oh, right on. Dude, what a beast.
Yeah, went straight back into it.
Cause you're a beast, dude. Hawaii's own.
Hawaii's own. Just doesn't stop racing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, anyway, congratulations, man. Obviously, Super Motocross just wrapped up. We were at the Coliseum. What do you know about moto history? Was being at the Coliseum, was that really meaningful to you? Do you think it was cool?
I mean, it was definitely cool. I don't think it has as much meaning for me as it might for some of the older guys.
Sure.
I never grew up watching any racing at the Coliseum. So I wasn't watching, my favorite racer, battle it out there. So it doesn't really mean as much to me as like an Anaheim or something like that.
Understandable.
So that part of it, I'm not as much, like, oh my God, we got to race in the Coliseum, but like, it was still a cool venue. I'm glad we got to go. If we don't go back, it's one of those things where it's like, we were the last guys.
Yeah.
To race.
What about the vibe though? Cause you obviously being there, you knew they were talking a lot about the history. There was a lot going on. A lot of the older pro riders were there. Did you get a little bit of that, even though you weren't familiar with it? Did you kind of think, oh, this is kind of cool, like Jeff Ward's here, or Kawasaki had their box van out there for the Saturday or Friday night to unveil the new bikes. There was just a lot of cool stuff going on. Did you get to enjoy any of that, or were you too focused on what you were doing?
No, dude, I was a wreck the whole weekend.
Okay.
Started not feeling good, Wednesday night-ish.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe just, getting a little cold, whatever. Then Thursday, woke up. I was like, all right, we're feeling a little bit better. Got to the track. Everything was already closed, so I didn't get to go look at the, actual layout yet. But got back to my hotel, and I was like, man, I'm pretty tired. Gonna go to bed. We'll go Friday. Head was pounding. My throat was kind of swelling up a little bit. And I was like, all right, gonna do a couple laps out there, try to save some energy because, clearly I'm not feeling good. Hope I feel a little bit better Saturday, learn the track on Friday, check it out. And then, dude, Saturday morning woke up. I didn't think I was going to be able to get out of bed, to be honest.
Wow.
Told my dad, I was like, hey, I think I need to go to the urgent care. So went there, got checked out, didn't really get anything conclusive, but got some antibiotics and stuff, and kind of just hunkered down for the day, basically sleeping in the top floor of the semi until practice and the motos. So yeah, that was my weekend.
That's a rough day, man.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, I hate hearing that because, it's like of all the times that I could get sick, that happens to me so much. I'll be totally fine for months, and then when something important is happening, and then I get sick. It's gotta. I mean, it's terrible to see you have to fight through that.
Yeah, like I know I got sick a couple times, throughout Supercross, and I started taking some more, nutritional stuff like vitamins and everything, and I honestly hadn't been sick for, since maybe 3/4 of the way through Supercross. So, I was pretty stoked to make it this far with, how much we travel and how hard it is on the body. It was one of those things that, I'm not really prepared for.
Yeah. Yeah. With you guys traveling, that's nuts. So Grant, what I wanted to ask you is when they announced that the SMX thing was going to happen, they were going to have this 3 rounds and it was going to be seeded in based on points. From what was your original thought of it, and then kind of compare that to, now we're here and you were one of the guys that benefited from the payout, and you finished inside of that points payout. Kind of take us through like how your perspective of the whole playoffs and how it kind of changed throughout the whole year until this point.
Yeah. I think coming into the year, they announced it, and, me and my dad were like, oh, that's pretty cool. If we can make that, it'd be pretty cool. Right. And I honestly didn't think that I would get much of my points from Supercross. And I figured honestly that Supercross would be more beneficial towards the points than it was. But, after Supercross being 18th, I was like, okay, I've got a 100-point head start. I'm coming in the outdoors. A lot of guys are out. A lot of guys aren't racing. So, going in the outdoors, I was like, okay, I can get a huge chunk of points and move up and be in this thing. And I think the first race I went 9-6 and, I scored 20 something points. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, we got a good chance at this thing, to be in that close to that top 10 range for the overall.
Yeah, you did good, man. And that's a lot of extra motivation for a guy that's a privateer. Yeah, you had some support through Rock River, but that's a privateer, full privateer team, really. So having that carrot kind of dangle out there had to be a lot of extra motivation for guys in your position.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was a good goal to look towards at the beginning of the year. And, throughout the year, once I started scoring points in Supercross, it was like, okay, like I'm really going to get after this thing. To try and get as many points as possible to be in the best position going into those races, whatever they might be. And, we were still learning throughout the year too. Like we learned most of what was going to happen at the races, the Thursday before Charlotte.
Yeah. That's it's not easy to prepare for something like that when you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah. It was all kind of confusing, but
yeah. And with the series, something I've asked a lot of guys about, the tracks, everybody, the factory teams have been kind of searching for a good setup. And, the even Jet and Chase on Factory Honda had completely different setups, trying to figure out how their bikes are going to react in these different type of conditions. That talk about how much more difficult that is for a guy like you who doesn't have those options. Like you don't have probably 3 or 4 different sets of suspension and guys there helping you tune it to say, oh, let's get the perfect setup.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't too uncomfortable with the tracks. The one I was most uncomfortable with was Chicago, but I was on an outdoor setup. I just, it was just kind of a rough weekend for me, but I thought it was pretty simple to figure out. Charlotte Supercross kind of hybrid. Like I took my Supercross stuff, went 5-7 clicks softer on everything. And I felt like it was pretty good. Obviously, if I had, full-time suspension guys, we could have done whatever. But I took my Supercross stuff, went softer for Chicago, looking at the layout and then seeing it in person, just went full outdoors. Mm-hmm. And then obviously LA being a full stadium, threw the Supercross stuff back on. And I was, pretty happy for the most part.
Well, that's good to hear.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I thought you might have a lot more struggle than that, I just didn't think it'd be very easy for a guy like but you're a seasoned vet at this point.
Yeah, I think maybe some of these guys put a little bit too much thought into it.
You're probably right. You're probably
I can only really the first round being kind of a struggle because there was, one rhythm that Supercross stuff was needed for, and then everything else you could have gotten away with outdoor stuff. So that one was kind of tricky, but other than that, I thought like the layouts were pretty, like they're showing you what we were going to be racing.
Yeah, I as fan, media, etc., I would have liked them all three to be more mixed, kind of like Charlotte was, where there was a Supercross section and there was an outdoor section. So that way you guys have to kind of choose and be like, well, which one's going to be better, but we're going to struggle no matter what. Like, I want to see the best riders in the world struggle. You're welcome.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, good.
I thought Charlotte needed another rhythm section at least.
Yeah.
I did like the Chicago idea. Being a little bit more motocrossy with some Supercross jumps in there, and then LA obviously being full Supercross basically. So I kind of like the idea of like a hybrid, like a more moto, but like still Supercross aspects with like the banners over the jumps and stuff like that, and then full Supercross.
See, Chicagoland, even though there's no whoops in SMX, Chicagoland should have had the biggest set of Supercross whoops ever. So it's all outdoors and some Supercross whoops.
Oh no, there were Supercross whoops hidden behind the dark spots.
They form naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't see them.
I got you.
Yeah, once I heard that Chicago had been like, I didn't realize that stadium had been pretty much abandoned until we came in and did that, and knowing that they had that. I mean, lighting's obviously a thing, and you have to put the cameras in certain spots. But I feel like I kind of wish, hindsight, that they had gone a little more crazy with maybe going further into like the inner of the stadium or out of the stadium,
infield, you mean?
Infield,
yeah.
or gone further out, or I don't know. I feel like when they said they were going to do these hybrid tracks, I thought they were going to be like how when they did the Monster Cup at Vegas and they had like kind of like a whole section outside.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do something like twice as big as that. So I think that I would like to see more than that. But logistically, I don't know what I'm talking about. So
no, you don't.
Yeah. At Chicago, the problem was it rained like a day or two before, or the day before and the day of they were supposed to start building. So it kind of, I don't want to say ruined their dirt, but it kind of made it hard for them to do what they were planning on the track map. Because if you go and compare them, they're a little bit different from their idea to what actually came to fruition. So I think it played a part in that.
Apparently, all the drainage goes into that infield where the dirt so the dirt was pretty wet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that some of the kind of the weirdest or most different dirt that you rode on? Because it definitely looked deep.
It kind of did have some Daytona vibe to it, where you like, a couple of the corners it gets down and it's just, you're just kind of have grass ruts, which I think are cool. I'm a fan of those. So.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask, does your finish in this SMX series, how beneficial is that for your resume? And do you feel like that you're going to get more opportunities or better opportunities next season because of this?
I don't think it makes a huge difference, to be honest. I think maybe once the series progresses a little bit, maybe it'll have a little bit more meaning to it. But as of right now, like, I don't think anyone's looking at 15th in SMX and thinking like, oh wow, like that's so much better than the 10th I got outdoors or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that has too much weight. Like kind of what I've been telling people is, most of the time in our sport, you have a really good year, and for it to really mean something, you have to go and do it again.
That's true, actually. Good point.
I think, sometimes you see guys, they have a really standout year and then, they kind of disappear for a year, and, sometimes that's it. And then sometimes they come back. So, I think having a really good second year is the most important thing right now.
So are you going to use that 32,000 to go back into your program in some way, or are you going to go buy a sports car? Well, you can't really buy a sports car for $32,000, but
don't quite have sports car money. So I think I'm going to in the program, and hopefully next year we can kind of crawl our way into some sports car money.
Okay. All right. Let's shift gears just a little bit. MXDN, I heard you're going to ride for Guam. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Hell
Yep.
yeah. How does that go? That sounds exciting.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Brad with FXR or Pete Lepanovich, who's kind of putting the whole thing together with on. But one of them reached out and was like, "Hey, you want to do it?" And I was like, "Sure. Why not?"
What an experience.
Who's your teammates?
It's just him.
Oh, you're gonna ride all
He's
of
going
them?
to ride all 3 classes.
Yeah, all 3 motos. I'm actually riding 2 bikes.
Yeah,
and
like
all of
skis.
them. Yeah, it's going to be me, Sean Lepanovich, and Josh Reese.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that'd be fun, though. It'd be a good experience to go over to France and just experience that and do some more motos. I like it.
I think, like, out of all the venues to go to, this is the craziest one, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear. Yes.
That track looks nuts.
Yeah, so, like, I'm excited for that whole aspect of it, more than anything.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
So okay, so be honest here. Is obviously the goal is to make the A main. Do you think that can really happen for you guys?
I mean, they made it last year, so
they did? Okay.
I don't see why we can't make it this year.
Heard that.
Grant's just got to go out and put his good motos in, and Varese has to stay on the bike.
Yeah.
Because Varese has had a season of a lot of crashes. He has the talent. We saw it 2 years ago when he had the fill-in ride for Husky. He's just got to stay on the bike.
Yeah.
We'll get him there.
Yeah. Talk to him. Just have a talk to him. Just like Michael Lindsay had to have a talk with me about, getting my ego in check.
I told you. I don't know if you know the whole story, Grant, where he's been wrecking everything that he's been doing.
It's not exactly true.
And yeah, I told him, I was like, dude, you got to just take it easy, man. Just chill. And you almost were going to ride at the Coliseum. I'm glad that you didn't.
Well, I wouldn't have jumped that double either. I would have just rolled around, but
it was tiny.
Yeah, but not on a YZ.
Well, then you were going around saying that you were going to do this quad that only 3 people did.
Yeah, so you didn't listen to anything on Pulp last night or Monday night, did you, Grant? Grant, are you there?
Nope.
Oh.
I didn't.
Okay, so the discussion was like the quad, and I don't remember how it came up, and I was like, for $1 million to win that, if there was $1 million on it, I'd attempt it. And everybody's like, oh, you'd never make it. And I said, I didn't really say I'd make it.
Yeah.
But if there was $1 million cash sitting on top of that quad, and if I had to try, I might be willing to try for $1 million.
Believe it or not, Steve and JT gave him a hard time for that. I don't know. That doesn't sound like them.
They said I would never make it. I was like, well, I never really said I would.
I mean, anything dark besides as Steve and all those guys.
Yeah.
A hard time. So
exactly.
There's really no winning, but I mean, you put $1 million on that thing, and I don't know if I'm going for it still.
Yeah, I rewatched the race today, and I was like, oh, maybe not. It's bigger than I remember.
Was it just like, what were you going to have to do it? Like just seat bounce the crap out of it,
go
or
really, really fast? And go ahead.
No, seat bounce would send you over the bars. The thing that I was worried about, and that obviously I wasn't doing as well as those guys, is you come off that wall, and then getting the speed through the double to not get wheel spin coming up to it, because it was really slick right there in that first corner area. As you saw Dylan go down in the first moto and me with him. That would be my concern, is getting wheel spin coming up to it and then just not making it.
Yeah, and I'm sure I wouldn't have made it, but $1 million go a long way.
Yeah,
you've been all in the hospital.
That's what JT said would be a hospital. I said, well, I'm not going to pay that bill. Shit.
Yeah.
What about World Supercross? Are we still in with CDR?
We're still in.
Dude, so you got a lot of off-season stuff going on.
Yeah, we're looking at flights for those right now, and I don't like my options, to be honest.
You don't like your options?
No, they're not very good.
Because they're very expensive?
The Australia one's expensive, and then I think the return flight home from Abu Dhabi is, I either leave there Monday at 5:30, like that's when the plane leaves, or Monday at 11:30 p.m.
No midday flights, huh?
No, it's either 5:30 a.m. or 11:30 p.m.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Good luck with that, Grant.
Yeah, I'm hoping a midday flight shows up somewhere.
Sure. All right, I got a couple more things for you. I got an email earlier today from a guy named Jason Henniger, and he says, can you ask Grant what the chances are of possibly doing a VIP type of thing for St. Louis or Indy? My 36th birthday is the day of St. Louis, and I'm thinking of making the drive out there for the first time. I'd love to pay for some sort of behind-the-scenes type of thing with Grant. I'm friends with Troy Dog, and I respect Grant a lot for his skill and progression, so I'd love to spend some time with him on race day to see how he goes about his program.
Tell him to shoot me a DM over. We'll
Okay.
figure something.
I'll email him and tell him to get with you. And he may be listening right now. I'm not sure, but yeah, that'd be cool, right? I mean, why not? If the guy wants to put a little money in your pocket, and as long as he's not like hovering over you at all times, maybe gives you a little breathing space. That could be cool.
Yeah, I think our program next year is going to be better than it was this year. So
cool.
Hopefully we have some cool things to show him.
I like it. Well, I'll reach out to him. And then I told you in a text that I did this with Freddie Noren. I have a random non-moto question that I'm going to hit you with before we let you go. And it's, if you could have dinner with a conversation with any two people, alive or dead, who would you pick and why?
Man, so you texted me that, like 2 hours ago now?
And you didn't even think about it, did you?
No, I thought about it for about an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And not a single name came up.
What were you thinking about?
Wow,
that,
you don't have anybody you're interested in all of history.
Man, not really.
Okay, that might be the best answer.
He's just thinking about riding motos and making it to the World WSX and
fair enough.
And riding for
All right.
Guam. I mean, he's got to do a lot on his plate.
Okay, well, let's go to this other one then. I had another one. You know what? I'm going to give you one that I didn't tell you about. All right.
Ooh, okay.
If you had to lose one of your senses, smell, sight, hearing, taste, or touch, which one do you lose?
Ooh. I would probably go touch, but man, tough.
Would that mean that you can't feel the bike when you're riding?
Yeah, you wouldn't know if your knees are touching or not.
Because you can't feel anything.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I think I'd go smell because although I like
smell all day.
I mean, a lot of times smell brings back memories and it associates a lot of things with, but there's also some really bad smell. So, yeah, maybe.
See, the thing is I can't smell very good as it is, but if you lose your sense of smell completely, food wouldn't taste good.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Good.
And
I just feel like living with that every day would be tough.
I just can't see any of the others go though. Like, there's no way I want to lose my sight. I love music, so I don't want to lose hearing. We just talked about taste. I don't want to lose taste, and I damn sure want to feel the motorcycle and women. Damn it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like you could ride though without being able to feel.
Maybe,
so maybe not.
Maybe not.
I mean, one of the most common expressions is, I really could feel how I rode today.
Yeah. I could really smell how I rode today.
Wouldn't have those days where, like, man, track felt like shit.
Does that mean that you wouldn't be sore? Because then
maybe.
I don't know.
I might reconsider that if I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to have a.
I think that might be.
If I'm not going to have a Charlie horse like 3 laps in, then I
feel like that might be a little different, but we'll go with it. Sure, that's a good.
We'll go with.
Yeah.
No arm pump, dude.
Yeah. Then you know what? I'm on Grant's side now.
You're rethinking things. I'm sticking with smell. If you guys are listening to the show, hit us up, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com, and give us your thoughts on that. Grant, thanks for your time tonight, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Good luck at MXDN. Good luck at World Supercross, and we'll hit you up again soon.
Sounds like a plan. Appreciate it. Thank you.
See ya. That's Grant Harlan, brought to you tonight by FXR. Appreciate him jumping on. I didn't give him that's funny that he thought for an hour and a half and couldn't think of anything.
That's kind of a really hard question.
I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, because it's too many choices, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I could come up with a massive list.
I liked Freddie's. I think I definitely one of them would be Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would go with that.
Okay,
that would be cool.
Yeah, I could come up with a lot of lists. A long list, and I could probably just keep adding to it. I don't know if I could just pick one.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's too many choices.
But if I just had to pick two, and I just picked two randomly, I think I'd still be happy.
I would be.
I mean, originally it would have been Dak Shepard, but we're good there. He and I are best friends now.
One of them. Okay.
Why are you laughing? You weren't there.
I feel like one of yours would definitely be some kind of famous chick or something.
Be like Jennifer Lawrence and Diana Dahlgren.
Yeah, for sure. Or
I'd waste my picks.
You'd probably pick somebody's wife and you just like, oh, I want to have dinner with so-and-so's wife.
No, if I was going to do that, I wouldn't go with a wife. I'd have to go with one that's single. So, yeah, I'd go. Well, Diana Dahlgren is married, but Diana's definitely at the top of my list.
Yeah, but you've met her before.
No, I've actually never met her. She's been on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never met her. No.
Mm.
Like, we've had texts and stuff, but no, I've never met her. She did The Better Half or whatever with her, her husband, Ryan.
That's why I guess I thought.
Yeah, Ryan, Ryan would kill me, so.
Yeah.
But
he's probably got more strength in his forearm than I do in my whole body.
Yeah, he's pretty much a badass.
Isn't he like a Marine or something?
He's an ex-Navy SEAL.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
All right. He still does some pretty cool stuff. So we talked about the red flag. I'm working on getting Cheyenne on. What'd you think of the Triumph stuff? Did you watch that?
I saw glimpses of it on like Instagram and stuff.
You didn't? It was on the race. During the race, they were showing them riding it.
I saw like the clip. There was like a 10-second clip.
Oh, okay. Are you excited about it?
I mean,
okay. Did you watch the All-Star race?
Yeah, I had to go back because I had to go back and watch it.
How was that for you? There was a lot of crashes. GT15, Gavin Towers had a pretty big one, unfortunately. Do you like seeing those guys out?
Yeah,
I was kind of bummed that they weren't in the main show like all the other ones were.
Yeah, that was weird because when I went back to, because I was doing something and then I started when I came back to watch the races. I think it was like the end of the first 250 moto. So like I rewatched that and then I fast forwarded back up. Yeah. So I kept thinking that I had skipped through the 250 thing, and then when I went back to try to watch it, I need to watch the futures. I went and looked, and
they get mad. It's not futures.
Oh, whatever it was.
Dude, okay, that's why you can't get a hard card.
What was it called?
The 250 All Stars. It's futures during Supercross.
Right. Okay. So the All Stars, I went back to go watch that, and it was like I kept skipping in through the middle. And I was like, where is it? When did they do it? Then I finally went back to the beginning
during the night show. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that they did it. So.
Yeah. I was a little confusing. I'm not sure what the choice was. Somebody said something about time logistically, but then they had the KTM Junior, which they haven't had at the other two rounds.
Maybe that's what it was.
So I don't really know why. I feel the 250 All Stars deserve to be on the main show like the 65s and the Super Minis were.
Yeah. Well, so it wasn't technically on the broadcast?
No, it was before opening ceremony. So it was like at the end of Race Day Live.
But they showed it on it was
on Peacock because they showed that first 30 minutes that they don't normally do. It was on there.
Yeah.
But that was unusual. Next guest is on the line. So WUSA is your source for all things wheels. If you're looking for a complete set of wheels for your bike, we have something for every budget. If you want to use the same wheels used by Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, Malcolm Stewart, Christian Craig, Chad Reed, and Jeremy McGrath, just to name a few, we have what you need. Visit WUSA today or give them a call. Use promo code MotoXpod Show to save. Tonight, WUSA brings us Texas privateer Cheyenne Harmon. What's up, Cheyenne?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going good, man. How you feeling? Are you racing Pro Challenge this weekend?
I knew that was going to be the first question you had. I'm not sure yet. Last week I was sick all week, and the week before that I've kind of had some miscellaneous bike problems and just random crap happening, just dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And so I gave my bike to a mechanic, and I was like, dude, just tear this thing down, fully go through it, and just put it back together right. So I should be getting it back and hopefully riding tomorrow. So it's going to be a game time decision Saturday night if I race or not.
I understand. I mean, I will tell you, we just got off the phone with Grant Harlan, and he raced Los Angeles super sick. He was sick all day, and he raced, bro. Don't use sick as an excuse.
Okay, but that's different. I mean,
I know.
It's crazy because you go to a local race like, Pro Challenge like this, and I mean, everybody's pretty fast, for the most part, top 10 guys. And I want to go and I want to be up there in the mix and for the podium spot. So, like I said, if I get the ride tomorrow and, ride a few days and I feel good, I'll go. But if I don't get the ride, I haven't got the ride in 2.5 weeks now. And
sure,
I want to go and do good, and if I don't feel like I can, I'm probably going to, sit it out and get ready for the next thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Does them making it on the Sunday only, does that does that make it more feasible for you? And like, do you like that they changed it to do that?
Personally, I don't, just because of the history of Pro Challenge.
Right.
You know, it's always a 2-day thing, and you know, you know, I got a camper now, so I was looking forward to going and camping out and doing all that. Now it's a 1-day thing. It's like, well, I'll just roll out Sunday morning and do it. So it does make it a little easier if you're traveling from far away. You know, you can come down on, you know, early Sunday or Saturday and, you know, not have to spend 2 or 3 nights in a hotel. But yeah, I like the 2-day schedule better.
That's fair. So Cheyenne, you raced some Supercrosses in 23, correct? And you did some arena cross races. Kind of talk about how your year has gone for you, and we'll get into what you're thinking about and what you're planning on for 24. So yeah,
you know, my season for this year started last November in arena cross when I was with Jeff Crutcher's Cycles on KTM team. And the season, I mean, you know, it started off really well. We went in, I wanted to win that championship, and, you know, we were on track, and, you know, I was on the podium at every round, and I was sitting second in points. But the main event win, I was actually one of the only guys this year to actually beat Michael Hicks straight up in the main event. I think Kyle Peters did at another race, but I think we were the only that actually beat him straight up. And I was feeling good, and we went into the first round of the new year in Lincoln, Nebraska, and you know, the weeks off, I'd really put in a lot of work and worked on a lot of things with myself and my riding and my bike. And man, I showed up to that race and I was firing. I qualified first. I won my heat races, and the main event, me and Alessi were battling for the lead, and I was getting ready to set him up to try to make the pass. And man, it was a really fast track, and going down the start straight, coming into the first left-hand bull corner, my front end just went away, and I hit the deck pretty hard. The videos on my Instagram, you know, I bounced my head off the ground 2 times. I don't know how long I was actually out for, but I heard it was kind of a pretty scary situation at the time. I was out for a little bit, and I ended up breaking my tibia plateau and tearing up some stuff in my knee. So that really put a damper on things. And then 7 weeks after that was the Dallas round.
Yep.
Man, my whole goal the whole time was, okay, let's try and get back for that. And I mean, the Tuesday leading up to Dallas, I mean, I couldn't even fully bend my knee. I rode in a corner, a literal grass field 2 times before Dallas, and I rode press day, and even at press day, you know, we didn't know if we were going to race. And I rode, and I was like, you know, I think I'm good enough to be out here, because I needed to be out there for the team and their sponsors. And also, you know, I make a living racing a dirt bike, so I needed to make some money. And
of course, yeah.
You know, I made the point very clear to the team. I said, hey, look, you know, I'm not healthy by any means. I'm not main event ready right now. I was like, but I can put it in the show. And I know that's kind of what the sponsors were at least wanting. And that's what I did. And, you know, I was building up through the season. And so, you know, the 4th round I did was at Detroit, and I had a really good heat race. I was running a transfer spot for a little bit, and man, you know, again, those guys had been racing for 7-8 weeks while I was literally sitting on a couch with a broke leg. And so, I mean, my fitness was not there. And I made a mistake in the rhythm, and I got literally passed by 4 Phoenix Hondas, and I went from like 6th to 10th. And then, so I missed the main event by 1 spot there, but you know, we were making some progress. And then we went into, I guess, like a 4-week East Coast break till Atlanta. And then in that time, I switched back to riding the 450, and, you know, we kind of made another change mid-season, like, well, we're going to go ride a 450. And again, I started to get better every race on it. You know, at Denver, I qualified in the top 20. Just, you know, my time should have put me in the main event. I had some poor starts that cost me really bad. So yeah, it was a bummer season for the expectations we had coming into it, and
right.
The work I was put in and how things were going in arena cross. Cause I was feeling really good. So it was a bummer, but it's behind us now, and we're looking forward to this next year.
Yeah, Cheyenne, when you mentioned that like you're sitting on the couch for 8 weeks, and then it's hard to just go back into that Supercross space. Well, the question I thought of during that was, do you think that like what would you rather have? Would you rather have gone to an outdoor and tried to just make it through, or was it harder to do the Supercross being off the couch?
Yeah, I would say it would. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's so hard to say. I guess this is kind of a common question. It's what's harder, so to say. I guess the impact from Supercross. I mean, when I come back to Dallas before the finish line, they had a big 3 on off, and when I started seeing guys doing it, and I was like, is there an alternate line? Not because I was scared, and I ended up doing it because that's what I needed to do. And even knowing that I wasn't, coming off the couch and wasn't healthy, I was still kind of like, well, maybe we can make it in the main. We get a good start or we get a good time. Like maybe it's a possibility. So, the impacts on Supercross were tough. And, I think it would have probably been easier for me to get into outdoor shape than it would have been.
Super.
Yeah. In Supercross, just mainly because of, because the intensity is so high, your heart rate's pretty much maxed. And again, just the impacts with the G outs you get in the rhythm sections and the slamming the, whoops and on off. And let's not forget, you come up short on something or over jump something, I mean, and then also that when you're coming off the couch too, and you hadn't been riding for 8 weeks, you're rusty with your timing and your confidence and all that. So it was not ideal by any means. And I could probably say that there's not very many people who would have done what I did to get back out there. And it was really kind of almost like a last ditch effort. Is like, dude, like, man, things were going so well, and I believe we had a good chance of getting some really good results this year. And so I did what I could to get out there. We did therapy. I was working with Jim Bowie at FitNwise, and I mean, I did therapy every single day as long as they would let me. And I tried to take all the right steps and to get back, but.
Yeah, it's impressive that you made the effort to get back out there. You could have just kind of said, taking the time off. And you talked about coming off the couch. What is your training program? Where do you ride? What do you do off the bike? Who do you work with?
So here in the last 8, 9 so weeks, I started working with Coach Rob Beams on with Complete Racing Solutions. Yep. So I've been on that program doing it, and I've been basically in a somewhat of a boot camp phase, I guess you could say, since the end of July. So, I've been putting in the work with that, and I've been following his riding schedule as well. But as far as where I've been riding, Master Pool's place, I live in Fort Worth. So, Master Pool's has got a good facility that we go and train at. Grant rides there as well, and Oldenburg and Ryder Floyd, John Short, Henry Miller. And we got a really good group of guys, and, we kind of ride there, and then we'll ride out at the Ford Brothers place. They race pro ATVs, and they got a really nice facility as well that they allow us to ride at. And Oak Hill, and then, ride some at Taft House as well. We rode there quite a bit last year, or I did. And so, yeah, we got a lot of good places down here to ride. And then, you also have Game Moto with Greg Albertson, 3 hours up the road too, that, 2.5, 3 hours from where I live to his place. That's pretty badass too.
Yeah. A lot of options.
Yeah.
You got anything, Scotty? I got more.
I wanted to ask, we talked about like that you're doing this boot camp now, and that you're, working on getting more fitness, and obviously you didn't get a chance this season to do what your expectations were. So one thing I was thinking about when we were going to interview is, like, I think a lot of people in our sport underestimate guys of your caliber, guys that are trying to make the night show, and they're like, oh, these guys, Like they're what are they really out here doing? Why are they trying to make the show? Like, and I don't think that they really underestimate the effort that you guys put in and how fast you guys are. But with that being said, when you think of these guys, obviously factory guys are a whole nother level. That's a whole different ballpark. But when you start looking at these guys that are 10 to 20, 15 to 20, consistently making night shows, where do you feel like those guys are doing that maybe you're not? And obviously this boot camp is probably a way to get to there, but kind of how compare and contrast yourself to those guys that are consistently making the mains every week.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't feel that I lack, the talent or ability to be there because, I've made main events. I've had some good heat races. I've had those flashes of things. I think the biggest thing that's lacked in my program in the past, and that's what I'm trying to, make sure it doesn't happen this year, is lack consistency with my training program, with my riding program, with my bikes. It seems like every year I've switched brands, middle of the season, or I went to the 250 to the 450, or I've switched from this to this. And, soon as pretty much Denver Supercross, that was my last round. And on the drive home, I started doing a lot of soul searching and thinking, and kind of started, thinking about this coming season, and started making a plan. And, before I even got home from Denver, I was, making phone calls and to see what I could, maybe if I could do my own program like I'm going to do this year. And got a lot of positive feedback and help with bikes. And so that's what I'm trying to bridge is that consistency gap and having a solid program. I think that's something that a lot of these top 20 guys, look at Grant this year. He had a solid program. He might not have the best parts in the world, but he had a solid bike where his chassis worked well. He had a good trainer program, and he was very consistent with everything he did. And I think, I have that ability to be a guy that's in a lot of those main events. I don't want to just be out there in the night show. That's not my goal. That's not where I want to be. Ever since I was a kid, I've raced something since I was 4 years old, and the goal has always been to, win or do the best you can. We're not just there. So I'm always, putting in, my best effort. But this year I'm really trying to invest in areas that I've lacked in the past, and really try to leave no stone unturned and just go at everything I have this year. And if that means I got to spend the last dollar I have on parts or training or whatever it is, and that's what I'm going to do, because I really believe that I can achieve those goals that I have. And so we're going full at it this year.
It's got to be. That's cool. I'm glad to see that you're kind of all in kind of thing. And now with the SMX playoffs, if you do become one of those consistent guys, there's a payout for y'all to get there. So I think it's cool, and I'm excited to see. You've always been one of the guys that I've kept an eye on to see how if you're making it and whatnot. So I'm interested to see what that effort will how it will pay out.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it all come together. Like I said, I've been working on this stuff since I was making phone calls, and guys are like, dude, season's like halfway through. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I want to be the first guy on your list when you get your budget.
Yeah.
So I've been hard at work on everything this whole time since Supercross has been over. I was going to try to do a couple outdoors, but I didn't really have much support to do it, and it would have cost a lot of money just to go do the 2 rounds I wanted to do. And I just kind of made a decision to back out on it, take a little time off, let my, cause I still never let my knee and leg heal completely. So I took a little time off, I still, trained and rode a little bit, but I took, 3-4 weeks where I kind of just laid low. And then, like I said, in July, I got on Rob Beam's program, and, we've been back heavy on it. And then now that the schedules come out, I've been able to really start following up and going after, the sponsors and putting it all together. And it's a lot of work, but, I choose to do it. I'm not going to sit here and cry, poor me. it's tough, but at the end of the day, it's what I choose to do. Nobody's making me do it. And yeah.
So talk about your 24 program. You had reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and you have some things you're working on for title sponsors or guys, round to round title sponsors.
Yeah. So I'm going to do for each individual race, I'm going to have title sponsorship opportunity where a company or whoever it is, if can have the opportunity for one race to have a full title sponsorship opportunity with my bike, my helmet, the social media branding, and I'm still waiting to get confirmation, but I think we're going to be doing a vlog at each race. And, I've done some in the past and, they've been kind of successful. So I'm thinking that's one thing that could take off too, potentially. But yeah, I mean, so for one race, a company, let's say Coca-Cola, for example, not saying they are, but it's not going to be just a stick or slapped on the bike. I mean, we're going to do a full custom livery at each race with that company. So, I mean, when you see the bike, you're going to know it's a MotoXpod bike or a Coca-Cola bike or, whatever the brand may be. And, that branding will come with a helmet wrap as well. And then, after the race, that company will get some signed goodies from that event. And if they come to that event, we'll make sure they get their VIP passes and then give them a good experience.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this sport needs more of that. Obviously, needs more outside sponsors, but it needs more guys like you thinking outside of the box like that. So I kudos to you for trying something new, and I hope it works out.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few guys do it, and even the team I was with last year, they had a few rounds where they did some stuff, and I've got to work with some great people in the industry, and I've learned a lot over the years, and I learned a lot when I was with the microbuilt Yoshimura Suzuki team with Ronnie Stewart and his wife Brooke. I mean, they were marketing geniuses, and so I've kind of just took everything I've learned. And, that's why I was like, well, I'm not going to sit around and wait on a phone call or to see how things play out here or there. I'm going to do my own thing and get to work on it. And, I think it's, and my pricing on the package is very, very reasonable for the amount of exposure it gets. I got a whole proposal. So if anybody's interested, just, you can message me on Instagram, Facebook, or email me. But it's a very reasonable price, and it's a lot. I feel like it'd be a lot easier to go after that 17 individual sponsors than it would be to go after one big one. So That's kind of why I'm going that route.
I like it, Cheyenne. Well, man, I hope everything works out where you can come out to the Pro Challenge this weekend. I'll be out there at least one of the days. I'm going to set up and.
Yeah, Sunday is the only day to really be out there.
Yeah, so I hope you make it. And, dude, I hope to – we'll talk to you again before Supercross starts, and we'll see how everything's going and how the plan's coming together.
Yeah, like I said, it'll be a game time decision Saturday night if I come out. If I can ride tomorrow and another day or two and I feel, like I'm up to par, then sometimes taking a couple weeks off doesn't necessarily hurt. Sometimes I come back and I'm actually probably riding a little better. So, yeah, maybe. I would like to. I mean, I love Pro Challenge, and it's always a fun race and a great facility, and the new owners are doing a great job out there, and I'm excited to see where that place goes. Texas Motocross has got a lot of cool things going on right now. We've got some new tracks around here, as you know, and Texas Moto's doing pretty freaking well. We got a lot of fast riders down here.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure, including yourself.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Cheyenne, thanks for your time, man. Cheyenne Harmon tonight, brought to you by WUSA. Guys, order you some of the best wheels on the market. And yeah, Cheyenne, we'll talk to you soon, dude.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You got it. Talk to you soon. See you, bud. All right. That's Cheyenne Harmon. Some good guests tonight.
I think so.
All privateers, technically privateers at different levels of being a privateer, but still privateers. And
he just made he was talking about Texas having a lot of fast riders and stuff. Dude, like
me.
It kind of, well, I mean, honestly, kind of like it's honestly like, if you ride in Texas, obviously never really rode anywhere, any other region, but like, dude, even just being an amateur or a vet guy here in Texas, like it's gnarly, man. Like everybody around here it just seemed like it is a faster, I mean, obviously, I'm sure everybody in Cali's fast, but, and I'm sure there's other regions that have especially places like Millville. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I feel like Texas is like, you can be fast and be nothing,
Oh, I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because there's more
more people, I
population?
guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's just more of a scene. I don't know.
Let's jump into a few of these segments. We may get into a few other topics tonight. See how the show's going, how we're feeling. It's
up to you, man.
Well, what do you think I'm thinking right now?
Changing cameras. Thinking that it's your cheat day and that Whataburger sounding really good right now?
It's not my cheat day because I've been gone. And when I'm traveling, it's kind of, there are cheat moments because it's so hard to find anything when you're in a hurry.
Oh, yeah.
So technically I can't have a cheat day, but I am hungry.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, anyway, we'll do a quick Luxon MXGP review of Matterley Basin. This weekend they were in Great Britain for the final race of the season.
I didn't even realize. Now that football season's going, once Saturday's over.
We got some shit for talking football last week.
Yeah, wait, it's one game.
But I got actually a football question in a minute. Just
okay. But I'm gonna now that I know that it's Matterley Basin, I am gonna go home and watch it probably tonight.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that track.
When it comes to triple clamp, suspension, and chassis parts, there's no comparison. Luxon MX makes the best parts you can buy, and Luxon's advanced engineering background and techniques allow them to develop products that are unlike the rest. They're lighter and stronger with optimized stiffness to enhance your riding comfort and precision. Luxon products are designed, engineered, and made in the USA, so check them out online at luxonmx.com. All orders of $100 or more ship free within the continental U.S., and you can save 10% on all their products with promo code MotoXpod. So, all I'm really going to say about Matterley Basin, a couple of things, starting with MXGP. Tim Geiser's back, 1-1, baby, overall. Showing you boys what is out for next year. He's going to come back, win another championship, crush everybody. Geiser is back. Loved it. He came from he didn't start at the front necessarily. He came from a few spots back, took the lead both motos. Jeremy Seawer, 2-4 for second overall. Favre for 5-2 for second overall. Those results kind of show you there were some inconsistencies with the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Some really good racing. MX2, Sasha Koenig crashed like 2 or 3 times, but Kai Wolf also looking like he's back. He didn't win, but he looked good. Looking for big things out of him at MXDN, even though he's not, obviously I'm pulling for the U.S., but I am a Kai Wolf fan, so I want to see him do well. But Geertz and Lagenfelder rode amazing, really great rides, and kind of some inconsistencies in that race too, because Adamo went 4-3 for third. Lagenfelder went 1-4 for second.
All over the place.
Yeah, so a little bit.
Oh, 4-3 for third. That's crazy.
Lagenfelder went 1-4, and just 3-1 was Geertz. So those 3 guys were kind of mixed up quite a bit. So it's some good racing. That was the point.
Okay.
Yeah, like nobody went 1-1 or 1-2, 2-1.
Yeah, fair point.
Those 3 guys battled, and it was really good stuff. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that one. GPs are over for the year. Why you looking at me with a grin like you're about to say something?
I'm thinking about what you're saying and chat and kind of all the place. I was going to ask you, does it still have that crazy like uphill Dragon's Back quintuplet, whatever thing that is?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that is one of the gnarliest jumps I've always ever.
Is there anybody in the chat that may need to be blocked? I feel like there is.
Why?
I mean, I don't know, man. You're going on Pulp and our show, Scotty's show. We're at the maybe.
Oh no, these guys are doing a fine job.
Oh, they're doing fine.
Yeah,
okay,
doing a fine job.
All right.
Everybody, yeah. Sports got my.
I saw your comments there on the plane. When I was flying home, I was scanning through. I saw your comments. I saw that. Sporting Wood.
And still just guys, just another time where he can't just say, hey, my co-host is doing great. I watch Pulp every week, and I can't even get one shout out. And they're just like, Scotty's doing a good job. Nothing. We'll move on.
X Brand has quietly grown into one of the premier goggle choices available, using some of the most grueling conditions by GNCC riders such as Lyndon Snodgrass, Bryson Neal, Craig DeLong, Josh Strang, and Grant Baylor, as well as multiple motocross and supercross riders. go to your local dealership, ask for X brand distributed by WPS, or you could also, I guess, buy the Alpine Star goggles, which are actually X brand Lucids, and they did win a championship this year. Didn't win an SMX championship because Hunter wasn't able to line up. That kind of sucked.
that was
sucked.
I've had a pensioner for over 10 years. It's no joke.
Yeah, it's not cool. I mean, I've been there too, where I had like kind of come on and go off and stuff. But yeah, I feel bad for the guy. He was supposed to get checked out, I think, yesterday. What's today? Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because my days are all mixed up. Monday, I think he was going to go get checked out. So I haven't heard anything, but yeah, hopefully he's fine and he'll be ready for MXDN and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, X Brand Forum check-in. Got to pull it up real quick. That's what she said. Huh. Okay, MX219 posted, is Sexton really going to run the number 4? You're laughing. I don't like it.
I can't. I'm just doing my job, man.
He said, did I read that right on the projected numbers for 2024? He's going to run the number 4. Guy said yes. Richie said, I haven't read these, so hopefully they're good. Does this have anything to do with the recent RC arguments back and forth? I don't really know what to call it. I'll miss the Jordan-inspired Alpine Star gear, which was the 20. I said that actually in the press conference. Pretty audacious of him to run Baggett's number. That's funny. Hey, 23 is so much cooler than a single-digit number. Love that Kenny never ran one other than the number 1. There's a couple of comments on it. It does sound like he's going to run it. He didn't. I asked him. Somebody else, I think actually Davey Coombs asked Jet and Hunter if they were going to change their number because they are also available because they won championships. Mm-hmm. They both said they liked their numbers. I think we talked about last week, actually, and I thought of all the guys, maybe Hunter would. I didn't think Jet would because he is a Jordan fan. He likes the 23.
Yeah.
Sounds like I was wrong, but he did not.
That is interesting.
He didn't. He just said, we'll just have to wait and see, basically.
Yeah.
He didn't say no, and the rumors are that he's going to, so I'm guessing he will. I don't think it has anything to do with any arguing, and it's not even really RC that's talking that much negativity. It's more James Stewart.
It sounds like some of that drama that the inside media guys like to make up because y'all get bored and can't think of anything
definitely
else.
some issues there.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, because Stu and Chase, when they worked together, I don't think they left on the best of terms.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, but yes, it does sound like he's going to run the number 4. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you care?
Like not a crazy amount. I mean, it'd be.
Do you think any number should be retired?
No.
Okay, me either.
No, I don't think so. Because it's just too. It's just not.
I'm okay with numbers being retired, like on a team. Like the 80, in my opinion, should be retired for the 49ers because Jerry Rice, the greatest of all time.
You'd eventually run out of numbers. I mean,
not in football though. Like there's.
I'm talking about in our sport. Yeah. I think it's kind of funny that he would. So, if he had kind of just had a number that he kind of switched around and he kind of went through the whole, changing his numbers sometimes. But I always felt that the 23 kind of fit him very well. He's done the Jordan gear, which I thought was awesome.
Yep, I agree.
I've always liked that Alpine Stars jersey look that he's done, and especially with the 23, it fit well. I feel like that was kind of his number, like nobody had ever, 23 had never really been anybody that I can think of, anybody's staple number. I feel like it was kind of significant to him. It is kind of funny that he's going to a KTM and now he's going to be the number that last person who had it was on a KTM. So it's going to look like, I'm sure there's going to be the random Bud Light drinker or natural light drinker on the whatever kind of beer drinker sitting on the couch and goes, back. What the hell? I thought he was done, You
think so?
I don't know. I'm just trying to make a joke. But
the people that aren't paying much, Baggett was back this weekend. He was there.
I was about to say, speaking of, did anybody, he was with his son doing the Stasic race, one of the Instagram posts. Nobody got any kind of inside scoop or talked to him or nothing?
I know he was in a couple of trucks, but I didn't know he was there until afterwards.
No, I'm talking about media guys. No media guy got a hold of him and got any kind of answers or anything.
He's not going to give any answers.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah, no. Kaylee. Wow, why can't I remember her name now?
Do you not remember
Keely.
Somebody's wife's name? That I cannot believe.
Keely
that.
has told me because I reached out that they're not going to talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it because they signed a NDA or whatever. Not is that what it is? NDA? Yeah.
But he's never racing again. Like it's
no, dude. Yeah. It's been how many years? He doesn't even want to.
It's been 2 years.
No, he didn't like racing when he was racing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Blake. He's always kind of been.
Yeah.
He's a different character. Not saying he's bad or weird or anything. I'm just saying he's different.
No, I would have liked to have said hi to him, but no, I didn't even. Never saw him. There was a couple. I missed a couple people that were there that I didn't realize were there.
You were
Dave Castillo. I didn't see.
You're too busy with having heart bubble thoughts about Dak Shepard.
Yeah, pretty much. Give you a ride at Shineback. The Motul E10 Shine and Go Spray is our go-to detailer for all of our bikes. Motul E10 Shine and Go Spray cleans and restores plastic to like new conditions while leaving a protective film that repels dirt and grime. It smells like citrus, which is almost as cool as your garage smelling like race gas. You can find this in the entire Motul Powersports product lineup at shopmotul.com. You can use promo code VITAL20 to receive 20% off your order of $50 or more, or you can go to your local dealership and ask for Motul products. Motul emails. I've got a couple of them here. Let's see here. Landon Watts, I'm wondering if the reason for the lack of close racing is a function of there being a wide spread between talent, or if the tracks aren't built to facilitate passing, close racing. My question is, what could the track makers build or do to facilitate closer racing? Any thoughts?
I don't think it's the track.
Okay.
I think that you can only do so much, and safety has to be a focal point, and you have to have a wide variety of. Not everybody's on a factory bike, so you have to, you got to have you got to think of every man on all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I've heard multiple people make this point, and I think that it comes down to, you're on technology's caught up. You're on a bike that is dyno tuned perfectly to your exact like you're basically hooked up to a computer, and they know exactly what your tendencies are, and that bike is customly tuned perfect to that. And the suspension's insane now. And they're watching the lap charts, and they know the dartfish, and they know exactly what the fastest line is. And there's not that. If you go back and watch early 2000s, late 90s Supercross racing, it was the mistakes that made the racing so good. There'd be, it was almost impossible to go 20 laps without making a mistake on those old bikes. But so with the advances of technology and the advances of testing, and now everybody's a fitness freak now, and they're all on these diet plans and programs. Like, it's not that they're all good. That's why there's no like lack of or there's no mistakes, or there's no stuff that's like that's causing these races to allow for better racing. I mean, and then look, Sexton has a couple. He has 4 or 5, maybe more than that. He has a handful of races this year where he wrecks, throws it away, and everybody else is gone. So I mean, I don't think it's something that a track builder can fix.
I think for the most part you're correct. I think the technology is made for weaker racing or whatever, I guess. And
you and I and TJ were in a chat a couple weeks ago, or not even a couple weeks ago. We were talking about. We were kind of arguing a little bit about the Charlotte racing in Charlotte, and you were saying that you were like the racing is good. The racing was good. The close racing where they're kind of single file line, 1 second apart to 1 second apart to 2 seconds apart, where the top 5 are within 6 or 7 seconds, but they're all spaced out to a gap. Like that's close racing, but is that good battling racing?
No, I want people block passing, but
I don't think that's going to happen.
It needs to be slowed down. But then somebody,
then Barsha or somebody block passes, and then you hate them.
I don't hate them unless you T-bone. But if you can block pass and do it a little differently, but if you slow everything down where they're not going 60 miles an hour and like that line into that quad, which is wide open almost, like let's tighten it up like it used to be. When you watch some of those old tracks, the jumps were like super peaky, and they might only jump like 40 feet in distance, but they're jumping.
But that's the thing with those 450s and stuff. Now they're not going to do that. They're going to.
No, they're not. But that's what. Yeah,
I actually do something stupid.
One of my questions of the day that I did this weekend was, what would happen if next year you guys are all forced to go back to 2 strokes? And
wow.
I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but most guys were like, well, it'd make the racing, like the cream's still going to rise to the top, but it's going to make for more mistakes. Some guys aren't going to be able to ride 2 strokes at all very well.
I think there's a point there. I think that you could.
But it comes down to the bikes are too good now.
Yeah, I think you could implement, so like every Supercross track is it's similar attributes. There's a whoop section, there's a sand section, there's a couple rhythm sections, and then there's a 1 or 2 triples.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind sacrificing one of those things to like almost like and they did I feel like they did do a good job this year of making some of the rhythm sections were kind of cookie cutter and kind of like what the guys were doing the third lap, and it was kind of boring. But some of the rhythm sections, especially like what was it, Oakland? Like Oakland, where they had the rhythm section, like the on off that turned, and like it was they pieced together 2 really long rhythm sections. I feel like they did a good job with some of that, and like the one track that had all the dragons backs that stepped on and stuff. I think they did a better job of that this year, and hopefully they can continue to do that. But I wouldn't mind sacrificing another, like maybe instead of having 2 stadium triples or a sand section, have like kind of like it's a rhythm section ish, but it's kind of more like a speed trap, like rhythm, then a big giant wall or something, or or I don't know.
Maybe trying to figure out how to jump over the wall, like Mad Skill style.
Yeah, or like have a speed trap kind of section. I think that would make it more interesting too. I see that point.
All right, this one's kind of long. Chris Ricklick, I heard you mention writing an article about the race broadcast. I'm still working on, and we're looking for some points of view and or different ideas. Here are a few. I love Weege, like a lot of folks, but man, he seems to turn into a cheese ball on these super motocross broadcasts. Maybe he's a little nervous being in the TV booth. I don't know. He would be way better if he just chilled down and called the race like he was speaking to the Moto Nation. Gals and girls, dudes who are familiar with the sport and true fans. I don't want an NFL-style announcer for Moto trying to educate me on how there is 2 classes and 2 motos is ridiculous. Quit worrying about growing the sport and cater to the broadcast to the real fans. Being genuine will affect more people. There's some more TV stuff, but let's just stick with that one.
I mean, it goes back to the same thing we always talk about. It's just they have to do that. They have to make it. They're making their dollar, and the manufacturers are making their dollar off of the kid scrolling through the channels and seeing that and watching it, or the family, the dad and the son flipping TV and like, oh, what is this? And they check it out. That's the fan that they're trying to attract. I think we've talked about. My idea, my perfect world idea is to have a separate broadcast for the real fans. I know that'll never happen, but we've kind of, I've mentioned this before. I think there would be benefit in someone doing, maybe it's Vital or maybe somebody else that does kind of what the Manning brothers do for Monday Night Football. They have it's the broadcast is playing, but they're kind of dubbed over it and they're talking about random stuff.
There are people that do that.
Well, then there needs to be more produced and more, I think, put out there more, because I would probably watch that.
I think if anybody like Vital or somebody was to do it, we'd probably get in trouble for using their content, because we already can't use but only so much of their footage.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I just got to, like I said, all these hypotheticals could come up. They're all in my little perfect little world.
Right.
So. But I think that it's never going to change.
Yeah, we just doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. That's if he wants to have the job, then he has to do it the way they want him, or he's not going to have a job.
He's doing what he's being earphoned to do.
Yeah. All right, this one you guys are like. Sonny Forsty, Dark Side. While I agree the commentary on the broadcast needs improvement, it is hilarious to hear you complain about it. I think you'll have some room to talk once you finally get a single ad read correct in your show.
Oh,
just my 2 cents.
Fired.
Ouch, Sonny.
Yeah.
Yep.
That wasn't very sunny.
No, I just figured, I've said before that if somebody sends criticism, I would read it. So I read it.
I did. I will say, I could not understand why was Lee and Todd and Weege and like why
we're talking about there's too many people.
Why was
Will and JT?
Why was Lee and Todd both there? Like what was going on? Like I don't
Todd
understand
was doing Todd was doing
we don't need that.
Well, Todd wasn't heard on TV very much except for during the earliest part of the show, right? He wasn't on during the race. Neither was Weege.
But exactly. I'm saying, what is he? What are they? Why are they paying?
Because
that money could go to something else.
They were trying to make it such a big deal.
Yeah, I said that. No,
to NBC,
that was a miss.
Yeah, NBC would disagree, but I agree.
Put that money somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, Prox, highs and lows, rooted in racing from motocross to off-road, supporting teams like Pro Circuit Kawasaki and Pro Yamaha and SLR Honda. Prox has been dedicated to supplying quality components since 1975. From complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance like filters, chains, and sprockets, Prox aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability. Find Prox at your local dealer or online retailer. Visit prox-usa.com to search for parts for your bike and follow them on social media. Let's start with the listeners. Again, MotoXpodShow@gmail.com to get involved. Shane Bagley, always, hi. Danger Boy, seeing the determination and payoff in the end. Bright future for him. Low, it's over. Little World Supercross and MXDN, but A1 can't get here quick enough. And he said he put a topic up, Chase wrecking from the lead. Has anyone in moto history hit the ground from the lead as much as him? Hope it gets sorted out. But yeah, those are his highs and lows. Got another one. This one's also a little bit long, but Faith sent me a highs and lows. Faith called into the Pulp Mix show Monday night. I met Faith. Faith was very sweet, very nice. I liked Faith a lot. She's a listener. She's cool. Highs. Deegan winning the championship as a rookie. I'll admit I shed a few tears of joy for him, even though I don't know him personally as a friend. I feel like I do with the videos and everything. Side note, don't read the the family went to my church before they moved to East Texas, to East Coast. Yeah, I only just met Hayden at the Fox Raceway National. Jordan Smith is also one of her highs, getting a moto win for the first time in a long time. And the overall environment felt a lot better in a way because it was a night race and it was at the Coliseum and there was so much hype around the winner take all for both classes. Those are Faith's highs. Mm-hmm. Her lows, Barsha wadding himself. Is there any update on him? I think it's a collarbone and some ribs, Faith. That's what it sounds like.
Didn't he just get the ribs? Wasn't that when he was out for his ribs?
He had collarbone. I think that's what he had surgery on. It might have been ribs too, but I'm pretty sure it was collarbone or shoulder. Also, Sexton wadding himself. Same with the Barsha situation. Any updates? I haven't heard. I think he's okay. I think he just was knocked a little silly. Never heard if it was a concussion, but that's what it looked like. And does his type of suspension, the BFRC stuff, and the Honda twitchy front end, and maybe his lack of trust in the front end, have anything to do with it? It certainly seems so, Faith. Well, I also think at this point it's also a little mental. I just think it has to be. It has to be. I can't imagine a human being not having that on their mind when those things happen repeatedly.
See, I don't think that he's over there like. I don't think that he's doing it because like if when he was battling like Tomac or Roxon or even when he was battling Jet, for the most part, when he's in a battle, he's fine. It's not happening. I don't think that he's having a lead and he's like, oh, don't blow it, don't blow it, don't blow it, don't wreck. I think that he gets a gap a little bit of a couple of seconds or more. And I think it's kind of the same thing that bit Stu for years, is that I think that he kind of spaces out a little bit and he stops thinking about everything because when he's fast enough, when he's behind, he's like, I'm trying to get to the front. That's the only thing I'm focused on is what is the leader doing? How can I get to the front? And he has a focus. Once he gets to the lead, I think he just has a little bit of a gap of thinking about maybe not thinking about anything else, but he's just not as focused and he just loses it. And next thing you know, he's flying through the air or he's washing out a front end or something. So I don't think that he's like scared, oh, I'm going to blow it. I think he gets a little bit unfocused. Okay. Yeah. And that could be very well the possibility. Cool. Good talk.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to read these. I don't have anything to argue that with though. So yeah, I think that's a good point. Hill brothers ruined Kenny's chance at catching Jet and maybe passing him. That one sucked because Kenny was. Oh, was that the lapper that got in the way? Yeah, it was the Hills. Yeah, Kenny was on it. I don't know that he would have gotten there, but you're right. It definitely hurt his chance. Two more. Having to get a ticket or a wristband to meet the Suzuki guys and HRC Honda guys, it's probably free, and I get wanting to control the lines, but it also feels like an exclusive meet and greet, if you will. I feel teams should post the times for the autograph signs on socials and let fans know what the significance of a wristband or ticket to meet some of the riders are for and what they cost, if they cost anything. I think that's what she actually asked on Pulp.
Yeah, she did.
They don't cost anything. They probably should do a better job of promoting why they do that. And again, in the past, I know they used to do it. Almost all the teams used to do it. And it was because there's only a limited number of people that can do it. And,
I think it makes sense.
and they were trying to make it so like you go to Star Yamaha and there's people sitting down waiting to meet Hayden 4 hours before the autograph.
Oh, and I was trying. I'm taking a buddy for the first time at Dallas this year, and I can't even like go show him these. I can't show him the bikes up close because there's 400 people sitting in front of in front of it. It's like. And then like that's not good for the sport because they're not going and being exposed to all the marketing efforts that are out there because they're sitting in front of the star rig the whole time to get Hayden. Like I think
that's why they give the tickets.
I think that they should be doing that.
You go over, you get a ticket, and then you leave until it's time.
Go be a person.
Yeah, that's the idea. But yeah, Faith, they should do a better job of kind of letting people know about that.
Yeah, it should be. No, you don't want to come up when it's like you're like, oh, the ticket time's at 4:30, and then you come or signing time's at 4:30, and then you come up and
it's too late.
Like, oh, you don't have a ticket.
Yeah,
like,
if you don't know, that would suck.
Yeah,
so,
it should be advertised better.
Last one here, Hunter. I hope he's okay. The way he looked walking in the trailer wasn't good and almost looked like he was somewhat paralyzed. This raises the question of will Hunter be healthy enough to race MXDN? I did talk to Hunter in the pits afterwards. He was definitely not comfortable, but he was walking around, he was moving, and he just said he was going to get checked out this week. So no updates, and I do agree. I hope he gets to race Motocross of Nations. Sorry about my long response to the highs and lows, but I want to share my thoughts about why I picked them. So thanks, Faith. I really appreciate that. I like our listeners reaching out and getting involved like that, and it was very detailed. And, yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to post the picture that Faith and I took on my social here in a little bit. Probably I may do it in the morning, but I'll do it. I'll get it on mine. But, yeah, it was cool meeting them. Do you have highs and lows?
Yeah, I'm going to go highs.
Prox highs and lows?
Prox highs and lows. I'm going to say highs is that kind of what Lewis and I agreed on the beginning of the show, that the SMX thing worked. I think it was cool. I think that the prize payout at the end of the year, especially for the it's funny, the guys that are winning the most money out of this don't really like. It's not life changing. It's not life changing, but I think that the guys. I think it makes it better for the guys that are in that 10 to 20 range. I think it gives a better carrot for them.
Yep.
And I think that's going to bring better satellite teams in the long run. So the fact that it worked and that we got through and that the LA Coliseum was the finale and they got to do that, I think that was a success. So that was me my high. My low is Chase. Yeah, Chase doing that again.
Okay.
Like, even though it would have, if he had I really don't know what happened to him in the first moto. Like, he should definitely have gone second in the first moto.
Yeah, he was off the pace. Maybe he made some changes. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, if he had gone second in the first one and then had that 4-second lead and he was going to win it, then and then crash like that, I don't know how well that would have sat. But I think the fact that he wasn't going to win the championship either way. So I don't know if it's that big, but yeah, that was my low. And also, this isn't really a low, but what was the deal with in the stands, the double layered of banners? Like the first row was like 50 seats up. Like, was that some California PC stuff?
I'm wondering if because that stadium holds so many people that they wanted to keep them more compact in an area, because I
don't know if I dropped $300 for a first row ticket and I got there and
there sucks anyway. You can't see the track.
Sometimes you can see
only see like what's right in front of you. You can't see the other side.
I don't know. You can't. It's better than you think it is.
I've sat down there before. It sucks.
I don't know.
Oh, I can see the guy jump the triple. Yay! Oh, hey, there's the guy jumping the triple again.
I like being close. Sometimes I like being up. Sometimes I like being close. Kind of. Yeah. It's cool to like when you can see like.
Yeah, we talked about that, but I don't know why.
It kind of, to me, honestly, it looked kind of dumb.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just.
I'm sure the sponsors aren't mad at it, but
right.
It was kind of goofy looking.
I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but they had people. They were trying to keep people in certain areas because that place holds like 100,000 people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a football stadium, obviously Trojans.
Yeah.
So, all right, mine. My high, I put LA as a whole, and of course meeting Dax Shepard. Duh.
Yeah.
And meeting Faith. Faith was rad.
Yeah.
But Dax Shepard, that was a big one for me. That I've been wanting that for years, so I feel like I didn't act too weird. So I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm not sure I know what to do with my hands.
Oh, yeah. No, he was really cool, man. Like, yeah, he was like, hey, do you want to take a picture? Man, I don't want I said, I don't want to, no, I don't want to bother you. And he's like, no, let's do it. It's cool.
Did you immediately had that posted on the gram?
Nope. Didn't post it till the next day. That's a lie. Didn't post till sometime Sunday. Yep.
Okay.
Somebody actually asked me, are you going to, I was there, are you going to post it? And I was like, I'm saving it for tomorrow. I put Gilby Clark up that night from Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Well, he was in Guns N' Roses for a few years. That one I posted almost immediately.
Cool.
But yeah, Dax was.
What was your low?
Well, I'm still talking about my high.
Oh, you still.
You know what my low was? Having to leave and not hang out with Dax.
Oh, no, my God.
I'm joking. The crashes.
No, you're not.
I am. It's not wrote down, so it was a joke. The crashes and the All-Stars not racing in the night program, or, during the main program. That's pretty much it. And then I wrote no racing, for the next few weeks.
So when did you know that the futures wasn't going to be at the beginning? Was it like when y'all looked at the itinerary for the day?
Quit saying futures.
Oh, okay,
dude, man, they care.
Okay, All-Stars. When did you know that the All-Stars wasn't going to be?
Sometime during it was on the daytime. It was on my schedule on the program.
So what was the general consensus in the media box? Was there like?
I don't think anybody really cared.
Okay.
Not that I heard.
There was nobody that was like, oh, why?
No, not really. Nope.
So, okay, fair enough.
I just thought they deserved it because the other guys, the other 3 weeks, got that opportunity. Yeah. I mean, they were still on TV, but
you can't be mad. You can't call it futures for 10 months.
It's a different series, and it's not the same. It's not the same
the
riders.
Yeah,
it is
was.
not. No, it wasn't.
What's his name that went down? He was one of
Gavin
the
Towers.
Yeah,
he might have run a couple, but a lot of those other guys didn't. But it's not the same series. It's not Supercross. It's not motocross. It's different.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, All-Stars.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Since its inception almost 12 years ago, 60 Helmets has been dedicated to the relentless pursuit of brain protection from the original ATR-1 to its successor. What is it called? Yeah, the ATR-2. Okay. The goal is to develop a revolutionary design concept utilizing creative, forward-thinking technology that would change the market and prove the safety capabilities of the sports helmet. The helmet is the most important piece of protective equipment you will purchase, so visit 60 Helmets or go to your local dealership and ask for 6D. We don't have picks for next week, so people are going to love this. Last week, Cowboys got their ass handed to them by the Cardinals. Thank you very much. My Niners kicked some ass.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And you guys are going to get fucking destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. Dude. Okay. You got nothing for our defense, and your defense, which was one of the best defenses, is shit now. Well, that's not shit, but they thought I got hurt.
Yeah, keep thinking that.
So,
yep.
This weekend, Niners versus Cardinals. Who wins?
Now y'all play the Cardinals?
Yep.
Of course.
We'll work those boys. We'll show you how it's
done.
Well,
now that y'all have film on the third string quarterback that nobody had film on, yeah, y'all probably should win.
Okay, Niners, Cowboys, Patriots.
Oh, we're going to come back.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
All right, so we agree. That's our 60 picks for the week.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do all the teams. I'm just going to do the
teams. We watched. I mean, my buddies. I got a group of buddies.
5 minutes of football talk, guys. So we got a couple more things. So don't disappear. Just hang tight.
I got a group of buddies that we grill, hang out in the back porch. I bring the TV out to the back porch. We hang out, have a couple of drinks, and watch the game almost every Sunday. And it was just it just had a weird feel to it. They just couldn't. I think they underestimated the Cardinals, and I think that they didn't really care about that game, and they never woke up, and was kind of one of those. The
Cowboys do that.
Yeah, I mean
they lose consistently to teams they should beat.
Okay, well, I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think it just ruins the entire season.
No, it does. I'm just talking shit, but
yeah,
their defense is one of the things that they were. Them and the Niners have the two probably best defenses in the league.
They also
lost a couple major guys on their defense.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt them. I mean, maybe they replace them fine. I don't know, but I think it's going to affect.
We lost one of the linchpins to our secondary in the 2 days before the game, so it's hard to have a game plan for that.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes down to let's have this conversation again once the Cowboys and San Fran game happens.
Yeah, you got nothing for Kittle and Debo
because that's gonna because they're gonna everybody. It's a Sunday. It's a night game too, so everybody's gonna be ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on that night. Like if there's, I'll be be watching football.
Well, you come on over.
I know. I wish it was.
Actually, no. Don't bring that crappy juju over to my house. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not coming to your house. I'm gonna watch it right here, or maybe go out and watch it. But okay, a couple more topics real quick. Let me scan these topics. I knew there was a couple I wanted to touch on. Some of them we got to. Oh, maybe we got to most of them. Maybe I lied to you guys. Wow. Yeah, looks like we got to everything I wanted to get to. Okay, one thing, you couldn't see it on TV really from what I watched back, but in the second moto, 450 moto, every lap pretty much Jet went to the right in the sand, Kenny went to the left in the sand.
It seemed like lose some time.
Dude, I felt like the left was way slow. It was faster in the first moto, but then in the second moto, it seemed like it was throwing him higher.
Do you think it was like a vision thing? Like, do you think he was getting, like, if he went to the same line Jet did, when Jet landed, he was just going to get blasted in the face?
It's a possibility. I don't know. I felt like it was hurting him, but you couldn't really tell on TV. But at the race, I was like, dude, why? He's got to get out that left-hand lane. Because
it was crazy because he'd kind of catch him at the top of the turnstile, too.
Yeah.
That would be the closest point, and then he would go wide, and then he would build that gap. Yeah.
And it was also hard.
It's hard to change lines when you're stuck to one.
It was also hard to see on TV how, when they were on the left-hand side, when they would jump that wall jump or whatever in the sand, they were landing on the berm in the middle.
Yeah.
And from live looking down, that's where we're on that side of the stadium. Like every time I was like, dude, if they're off by half an inch, a fraction of an inch, like they're going to swap so bad.
That's how Chase went down.
Yeah, but he started going down before he even really went off the wall.
Yeah, I did think that section was that was a very cumbersome kind of.
Yeah, I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah, it was definitely different.
Yeah. So, you listened to a little bit of Pulp Monday night. I was pretty positive on my performance. I feel like it was one of the better ones I did, and you had some criticism for me.
It wasn't really criticism.
So I want to get people's thoughts, but tell me what you thought.
Well, I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, you listened to most of it.
Yeah, I've listened to most of it. No, I think you were good. I was never saying that it wasn't good. I thought that, I know how your relationship is with Steve, because it's funny because somebody on the chat earlier said that, like, you are to what Steve is to you, you are to me, kind of thing. And it's kind of like, it's like a line.
Oh yeah. I got you.
So I feel like, I think you were more aggressive and assertive, and I think in a way it was good and it played out well. But it's kind of one of those things with Steve where like you don't want to be the guy that tries too hard around Steve in that group. It seems like you don't want to be the guy that asks too many questions. You don't want to be a guy that seems to care too much, because then they're just gonna bag you on it. So I don't think that really happened. But that was kind of like my. If I did have a criticism, that's what it would be.
Yeah, I don't think I was trying hard. I just had questions and I wanted to keep it going. Yeah,
I think you did prepared. Good. I did think.
There were some people, I guess, that said, "Oh, Darkside was drunk" or whatever, which I definitely wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I had quite a few. I don't know, 4 or 5 of those little fireball things.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a 5-hour show. If you do one an hour, you're
like
not.
When we went downstairs for dinner at 7 their time, like when I got up, I was like, "Oh, I'm a little lightheaded." Yeah. And I ate a couple pieces of pizza, and I was
and you go back
completely
upstairs.
fine. Yeah, I never felt like I was sitting there going a little out of it.
5 hours.
I went into the show knowing that I'm going to be more assertive. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be more like have more to say, not wait for him so much to point at me and just be like, "Hey, I got something." And I just wanted to bring I don't know if I'd say my A game, but I wanted to bring a little more.
There was a point that was funny. I can't remember who y'all were talking to.
Crushed it on the Rock Talk game.
I'll probably hear that on the way home. But there was one point where you said something. I think it was to what was the promoters or the guy that was in charge of the
Mike Mewey?
Mike Mewey. Yeah. Mewey.
Director of Supercross. Not AMA, Director of Supercross, sorry.
Okay.
From Feld.
You asked, I think it was him, that you said something and asked him a question. It may not have been him. You said something, asked a question, and then Steve tried to change the subject, like right after you said it. But then the guy kind of like started talking about what you had said and like kind of ignored what Steve had said.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I thought that was kind of funny. I'd have to go back and
I don't remember that. But that doesn't. Yeah.
No, maybe it wasn't him. It was somebody because I don't remember. I'd have to.
I know with
again.
I think it was either him or Dogger. I was like, hey, because he was trying to wrap it up. Steve was, and I was like, are we out of time?
No, it wasn't
okay,
that.
because that was a little aggressive, I think. But that's why I didn't say.
No, that wasn't what I was talking about.
I definitely asked, hey, do we? Because I had a couple more things I wanted to ask, and he was cool, and I I don't think Steve seemed.
Oh, I think it was because Steve brought up you asked Mui a question, and then Steve brought up the Triumph thing. And then Mui kept talking about what you had talked about and never really acknowledged the Triumph thing.
I didn't notice that. Yeah. I don't remember that. But anyway, I was not drunk. And then there was something else people said that I was trying. Oh, I know. It wasn't that. It was I've gotten a lot of comments. I can't believe you missed the Bon. Well, you'll get to it. The Bon Scott question. And dude, I just blanked. Completely blanked. I knew who the freaking original singer of AC/DC was. I just couldn't pull it out of my brain.
Anybody that's never done a podcast situation or been on a show or done anything like that, it's way different than you think it is. Yeah. Like you're hearing yourself talk and then you're on the spot and you're trying to think of something, but you're trying to put on a production at the same time.
I don't hear myself talk really because I keep my audio down, so I don't hear.
I know. Well, I mean, you've been doing it for so long now; it's second nature. Yeah. But to somebody that I'm saying, the people that are saying that have never sat here with these on and done this, it's not what you think it is.
Well, yeah, we were doing a game show. It's like, hey, you got to raise your hand real fast. And I just couldn't think of the dude's name. I know the story. I know how he died. I'm almost positive Ozzy's Suicide Solution was written about him. I know who the guy is. I just blanked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I missed a couple. I missed okay, you'll hear it, but. What would you say was Skid Row's #1 song, on the charts?
I Remember You.
That's what I would have thought. It was not. It was 18 and Life.
18 and Life. Oh, yeah.
That would have been my second choice, but I would have definitely thought, because that's the day of MTV and Dial MTV, and even people that weren't really into hair bands liked the ballads. So I would have thought I Remember You would have went to #1 or close. But anyway. Okay, we're going to wrap this thing up. You ready?
Yep.
I want to thank our guests. Who are our guests tonight?
Cheyenne Harmon.
You're looking at your notes.
Grant Harlan and
Freddie Noren.
Freddie Noren.
Yeah, see, it's not so easy, is it?
Yeah, exactly. You get put on the spot. Damn, we just talked to those dudes.
Yeah. I want to thank our presenting sponsors, Race Tech and Boyesen, and all of our other sponsors, including Prox, X-Brand Goggles, Guts Racing, FXR, 6D Helmets, Luxon, Motul, and WUSA. I want to thank our listeners. And again, just keep getting involved. Keep sending emails.
Chat's been real good lately.
Good. MotoXpodShow@gmail.com, man. I try to always respond back. I love hearing you guys' thoughts, even when it's criticism. I don't care. Let us know. I'm not positive there's a show next week. I haven't talked to ML yet. I think we may take a week off. But just stay tuned. We'll let you know. Appreciate everybody listening. We're out.